together. The conversation, the separation, the overlooked $1,000,000 violations. It's time to forget to hit reset. Desire your unforgettable about the presets.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Choose your command. You have chosen
the Face-Off Hockey Show.
I mean, hockey is my life. I've got on hockey underwear right now.
The Face-Off Hockey Show. With Scotty Waz. Sean O.
breakaway.
And the P-Boys, Johnny and Mark with the C.
Yeah, baby.
You believe it not? Oh, yes!
Here's your host for the Face-Off Hockey Show, Scotty Waz.
Hey everybody, how you all doing tonight? Great time, have it all. It's another episode of Face Off Hockey Show. We've got a lot planned for you, ladies and gentlemen, so stay tuned for the next 7.5 hours as we cut, 2.5 hours maybe. We will have Sean Leahy. He is from Puck Daddy. He will be coming on to join us, talk about his trials and tribulations at the Stanley Cup, and also how he was able to get us credentialed for the draft once again. Oh, by the way, we got credentialed for the draft once again.
Yep.
We'll talk about that with Lyle Richardson coming on at 8:30.
Which just goes to show that the NHL does not listen to the show.
None. Thank goodness for that. And hopefully at 8 o'clock we will have a broadcast voice of Navy Athletics, Joe Miller. You heard him on such things as Navy football, Navy lacrosse, Navy basketball, and the voice of WNAV 1430 Annapolis.
If he figures out the internet.
If he can figure out what this Google Hangout is all about. So we will talk about that soon, too. Also, I want to give a little shout-out here, early going, because I told him he would. And full contact roller hockey. Problem is there's no ramps behind the net. We'll try to remedy that as the season goes along.
Damn it, man.
I know. But the Washington, D.C. Filibusters, which, all right.
That's a great name.
They're going to bore the other team to death.
The only problem, though, is that if there's not a team called the Pigeonhole, then I don't know. I mean, I think they're missing the opportunity right there.
They could be from Massachusetts. We'll find out later on in the year. DC Filibusters opening night, Saturday night, June 21st, at the Garden Ice House in Laurel, Maryland. They'll be taking on the Philadelphia Demons. That's a puck drop, 8 o'clock. Doors open 11 a.m. because that's when Laurel Ice Gardens opens. However, to get into the event, it's going to be 7:30. $5 for adults, 12 and under, $3, 6 and under, free. $50 adult team deal, great night, fun for the entire team. Also, youth team deal for $50 for players, coaches, and parents. Free hospitality suite, ladies and gentlemen. That means free beer. Brought to you by the Overwood, which is located on 220 North Lee Street, Old Town, Alexandria, Virginia. And refereeing that night is our buddy Chris. How many kids do I have now? Poisel. And he will be.
Well, he has to pay. He has to pay for them now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's coming out of his check. He doesn't know, but that's what's happening. So that's the fun part about this whole thing. He doesn't know that it's actually.
It sounds like a quite the interesting event.
It seems like having a fun time.
When is this? Saturday night?
Saturday night, June 21st, 2014 AD.
Wow.
Just in case you're going to show up 2,000 years before the birth of Christ, just to let you know. So that is what's happening right then and there.
Who's doing the announcing? And will Sean be there videotaping?
I think the guy from the AN1 mixtape tour is going to be there. And he will be on the rink actually doing the announcing as per usual. And Sean's just going to show up with a camera because that's what he does now. Actually, you know what? It's not a camera. It's an iPhone on a tripod.
Yeah. And I'm sure that Ivan LeBray or Rod Langway will be there too.
Well, that's just because they live there.
They come walking out of the little room that's next to the gym, and they're like, "Why are all these people here?"
They actually pay rent on what used to be Nelson Burton's office. So up there on the top floor, we kid. But the ML. By the way, do you remember that we talked about this before with that chirpy girl? Way back, and I'm going back probably 11 years, 10, 11 years now.
First of all, the number of chirpy girls that I've talked to in my life.
But we had her on the show. She was on the show, and she was talking. We were the one always chirping her, saying, "Hey, listen, do you have the ramps yet?" No.
Okay,
Click.
so the girls that I remember, one's Australian.
Mm-hmm. 2 were lesbians.
And Jen.
Yeah.
One knows history very well. And I wasn't even around for the lesbians.
That's right. I was the only one. Me and David P. Lycomi.
So
at the tail end, Sean O'Connor.
So yeah, I know 2 females that have ever been on our show, outside of Laura, who I think has fallen off of the face of the earth.
Well, apparently she's buying a house.
Oh, so it's close.
Yeah. Better than buying a zoo? I don't really know. To be quite honest with you. Sean Leahy should be joining us momentarily. Hopefully you sent the invitation to him.
I did. I should, maybe I'll try and just send him the link directly through the IM in this.
Can I not invite people? What the hell is this garbage? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, the Los Angeles Kings won the Stanley Cup. The Texas Stars won the Calder Cup. We will talk about the Calder Cup in the minor league report that I do every Sunday. So if you haven't checked out the farm report, go to. Does that upload? Give me a thumbs up or down if that uploads on our iTunes. All right, it does. So check out our iTunes if you're not subscribed to that, and it'll download automatically. Or go to fohs.podbean.com. Listen there. It's a nice little 20-minute bite, and yeah, we'll be going into summer hours soon though. So don't know what that means. I haven't figured that out yet. What the hell summer hours are?
I am Sir Sean Leahy.
Sir Sean Leahy of Manawa. I don't know where that is at.
Of Long Island.
Quite an island.
That reminds me that Chuck is coming down this weekend from Lefty and the Lowriders. I was thinking about just recording an interview with him, just talking about hockey and the band and such, and putting it up on YouTube.
I like it. Make it so.
Yeah, maybe I'll take him to the roller hockey game.
Go for it.
Hey, Sean Leahy is found us.
What's up?
Speaking of roller hockey, there he is, the man, the myth, the legend, Sean Leahy. He is back from his excursion, I think, for a little bit at least, to Los Angeles, California, home of the Doors. And Mr. Leahy, first and foremost, how was your trials and tribulations out in the Los Angeles heat?
You know, it wasn't that hot for game. I was only there for game 1. It wasn't too bad. You know, it was certainly warm, but it wasn't like today here on the East Coast where it's like, you know, hell hot. But it was comfortable, and me and Greg Wyshynski had a good time going through a couple of, how do I say, shady neighborhoods on our way after one of the off days to get some In-N-Out burger, because that was the closest one that our GPS would find. So we survived that and had some delicious In-N-Out burger, and the rest of it was great. The hockey was fun. It was a good game 1, and didn't see any celebrities, unfortunately. Only only the other riders there, but it was a good time.
Now, of course, you attended one game. Does that mean you get the blogging ring? Like for every blogger that attended at least one game of the Stanley Cup, does that mean you get your name on the traditional blogger cup?
Well, I went to the New Jersey games 2 years ago, and I went to 5 of the 6 last year, and I went to, I guess it's 3 this year. So I've been on that. We're already on a new ring already on the blogger Stanley Cup.
So you mean the NHL didn't screw up your credentials? Anyway, folks.
So yeah, we wanted to ask real quick, how did you get us credentialed?
Look, you know, when I saw the message, the tweets from Scotty that one night, and we were kind of DMing with each other, you know, I told him we need to bust some skulls. So I went to the credential trailer, I busted some skulls, and you boys are back where you should be in the draft with your credentials, and you know, all is right in the world again.
Well, thank goodness for that, because the problem was I would have to put a Lucha Cartel during the draft, and I don't have a luchador mask ready, so that would be the problem. Oh. Johnny does.
We will. We'll get someone else to buy you car bombs in Philly then.
Here's the problem though. The fact that because of Mexican cartels having all the limes, we can't pull our usual pranks. So that could be a problem.
Well,
I'll
yeah,
just bring
yeah,
the
yeah,
luchador mask so that I can get more limes then.
Yeah, I mean, I got the glass of limes last year at our party in New York at Foley's, and we're gonna have another party again this year, probably on the next Thursday night, somewhere in Philadelphia. Wish is still hammering that out, but keep an eye out for details. But Thursday night, somewhere in Philadelphia, there will be a Puck Daddy Broad Street hockey party where we will be all getting drunk and rambunctious and making lewd gestures towards the Rocky statue.
Oh well, in that case, count me in 5 times. I'll be there in droves. But yeah, that should be a fun time. Always a fun time with the Buck Daddy boys, and I get to meet the Philly fans, which I've gone to school for Philly for a year. That's all you need to know. It's pretty terrible bunch of people, but they're great. Sean, overall, what's the feeling of the story of the year? If you had to encapsulate all these games into one headline, it would be what?
Man.
Sorry, we're actually asking real questions tonight.
Yeah, no, there is a right or wrong question.
I didn't know this was going to be 60 minutes. Jesus.
I mean, well, technically,
Johnny, you actually went to an In-N-Out Burger, and then
I
there was a body that ended up in the bathroom.
I would say the main story is the NHL and the players really, really like money, and that's why we had 1,000 outdoor games this year, and that's why they're all celebrating that New York and Los Angeles were in the Stanley Cup final to kind of raise that HRR, right? Oh, HRR, right? Hockey-related revenue. I don't know my acronyms.
Yeah, the HRR is actually a Chevy vehicle.
And that's why next year we're reportedly only going to have I think it's 2 outdoor games, but this is the year to kind of bring back all the money that they probably lost last year by only having 48 games. So and of course the cap's going to go up probably $5, $6, $7 million this summer. So yeah, everyone likes money. The league's making money. The players making money. Makes you wonder why we had a lockout a year and a half ago, right?
Not really. I think Gary Bettman's ego trip is the answer for that, and God bless him for it. All hail Bettman.
That's why you got a credential back.
Exactly. Are you kidding me? Who do you think wrote a great review of that Bettman Instigator book? Gary Bettman comes off really great in this. I don't know why everyone complains about him. That's the fun part about this. Now, Sean Leahy, you are a big soccer fan, or like kids like to call it, football.
Yes.
Your thoughts on this World Cup, or Cup of World, or something of that ilk, that is happening right now in Brazil? Brazil. This country called Brazil. I've never heard of it before.
It's been fun. A lot of good games. A lot of goals. A couple beauty goals so far. Robin van Persie last week. Tim Cahill this afternoon for Australia. It's been fun. Had some upsets. I mean, Spain's already gone. They've won the last 3 major tournaments in Europe. Chile's looking like a dark horse. We'll see. The U.S. had a dramatic win the other day. We'll see what they do on Sunday against a Portugal side would possibly without Cristiano Ronaldo, depending on his leg injury. So it's been fun. The World Cup's always a good time. It's a month-long party, and of course, being in Brazil, you always get those random crowd shots of those hot girls. So how can you go wrong?
Very easily.
I've been kind of disappointed with the camera work so far in the World Cup. I mean, I feel like if I was a producer of the World Cup, I would have just employed one camera that only shot fans throughout the entire game, and just gotten the hottest fans throughout everything, and people cheering and stuff. But I mean, we haven't gotten very good shots of that so far.
Well, there was that one the other day. I think it was the Nigeria game where Ivory Coast were playing, where they did a wide shot of these the dancing Nigerian or Ivory Coast fans, whatever, and all of a sudden the camera just panned in on this blonde girl who was smiling at the camera. So they know what they're doing. The directors know what they're doing for sure, especially being in a place like Brazil where one of their main exports is gorgeous women.
I thought you were going to say prostitution, which would also have been true as well. So we got the draft coming up. We got the free agency coming up. We've got all the fun stuff coming up. Uh, what is going to be the intriguing part of the summer? I would have to say, I'll throw a couple out there. First off, the draft and how shallow it is before the deepest draft ever next year. The craziness and lack of free agency, and of course, everyone demanding a trade if you're a center. Do you pick one of those options, or do you have something that's completely off the board that I did not mention yet?
For me, it's going to be what the hell happens in San Jose with the Sharks. Doug Wilson's thrown out the word rebuild, where look, yeah, it was a historic collapse, but they're still a solid team. They were within a victory of knocking out the eventual Stanley Cup champions. I mean, it happens. And granted, they've come up short. That's kind of been their the title that they've kind of taken the last couple of years, where they have the high expectations, but they always come up short. But that's still a good team there. Joe Thornton and Patrick Marleau, they're not old men yet. I mean, they're up there, but they're still productive. Dan Boyle, he's going to be gone, so they're moving on from him. But then you have guys, like Logan Couture coming up and Thomas Hertl. So there's a kind of a good balance there of old guys and young guys who can be productive and make that a dangerous team. They brought back Alex Stalock, who had a solid year spelling Antiniemi. But to me, I don't think. I think it's a dumb move if they decide to trade either or both Joe Thornton or Patrick Marleau. That's the Sharks are right now. They're a contender for next season. You got to put them in that list of teams that could win next year just because of how they've been built, and to blow that up because to especially move those specific guys. To me, that's asinine, and that's just you can take a big step back if they do that. I'm not sure why they signed Mike Brown for 2 years. 1 year, okay, maybe he has a specific role, but 2 years, that's like when the Leafs signed Colton Orr and Fraser McLaren for 2 years. It's like those kind of guys you can just pluck off the free agent market and throw them a 1 year deal and they're replaceable. But the thing is, when you trade Joe Thornton, when you trade Patrick Marleau, you don't have them anymore. They're gone. And you're probably not going to get any sort of equal value, going forward, and that's going to be a detriment to the team. So, for the Sharks fans' sake, I hope Doug Wilson decides to keep those two because they're veteran leaders, they're productive guys, and they're going to be two key reasons why the Sharks are contenders next year if they stay with the team.
And I think the rebuild was in the broadcast booth as the one thing they decide to do. Drew Remenda gone, Finito Santiago. From the Sharks broadcast booth. So good idea on them. Good job, guys. Way to oh boy, that team. That team's fun. It's going to be fun to watch that nervous breakdown happen. What else do we got? I'm looking up here. There's GMBM players and Jason Spezza. Jason Spezza's a fun guy. Not only is he going to win the Calder Cup next year, or Calder Trophy. He might win the Calder Cup, depends on if he gets demoted or not. You look at what the Sens now have to deal with in terms of you got to get rid of Spezza or he's going to be a distraction the entire time. Where does he go? Obviously, he wants to go to St. Louis, but odds are, the asking price may be a little too much. Do they just throw Spezza anywhere? What can they do with this guy right now?
I mean, look, he certainly has some value. He does have a no trade list or whatever. He's only 31. He's still young. He's in the final year of his contract, which obviously make him very attractive to teams, despite I think it's like a $6 or $7 million salary. So 1 year left. A team like Anaheim, a team like St. Louis, take the gamble. Fill a role down in the middle and hope it works out. But we've kind of read all the stories in the last year about how the centers they're not really doing too well financially. It's kind of started with Daniel Alfredsson leaving to go to Detroit, and I'm curious. You have guys like Bobby Ryan, who is also going to be a free agent next summer. How does moving Jason Spezza, how does their financial issues affect a potential extension for him going forward? Because he's a guy, he's was he 26, 27 or something like that? He's very young, and he's a guy you could build a team around and be a valuable piece going forward. So it just seems like it's all going to hell for the Senators. They kind of had a bright future there a couple of years ago, but other than Erik Karlsson, Bobby Ryan, and a couple other guys like a Kyle Turris and a Clark MacArthur, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with them down the line.
It's going to be fun for them.
Did the Senators really start going downhill, though, when they chose that they wanted to keep Wade Redden instead of Zdeno Chara?
Very true.
It's been a slow burn, I guess.
Yeah, and, they made it to the Stanley Cup that one year, so there's that. They got that going for them.
So did the Caps.
It's true. But see, the problem is at least the Sens at least won a game, and they didn't have Pasotika to miss in an open net.
Well, the Caps would have won a game, too.
So, yes, you're right there! Anyway, we're not bitter. Sean Lee, we were talking about roller hockey before you came on because it's back in D.C. Roller hockey back in a big, big way. Your fondest memories of Pro Beach hockey were what?
Pretty much just coming home after school at like 3 o'clock, and like between like 3 and 4 and 4 and 5, just not doing my homework because I was watching, the Web Warriors or the Salsa, playing, and then I guess a couple years later they had the Roller Hockey International, and there was a team here, the Long Island Jaws, that played at the Coliseum. So seeing those games, it was fun. It was something to do after school, and also kind of you watch for a couple hours and you go out, in the street and play with your friends. So I wish they would bring it back. I mean, geez, I think NBCSN could certainly use the programming during the day rather than showing, bass fishing, I'm sure.
Well, hey, listen, fish races, as Sean O'Connor once said, is the primary thing there.
That was really the height of roller hockey, though. Wasn't
that was
it like
the mid to late
that time
90s.
Period, everybody was playing roller hockey. I remember, we did it all the time. We broke windows in our front yard. That's how Mark learned how to play goalie, because he was the youngest.
And it was boosted by that movie Airborne with a young Jack Black.
Seth Green was in that. Let's not forget.
Yeah.
I still think my favorite memory of Pro Beach hockey was a post-game interview. One game, I don't remember who played, but they interviewed the losing goalie after the game, and they asked him a question, and the goalie looked at him and goes, "Well, I was pretty terrible tonight, actually." I go, "Even if I wanted to go out and kill myself, I'm pretty certain it'd go through my legs. Or jump in front of a bus to kill myself, I'm pretty certain it would go through my legs."
Classic, tried and true.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I just liked that was the first time Franklin was relevant outside of baseball. Because it was all
True.
Franklin
They
brand
made all
and
the
everything.
equipment.
Yeah. God,
Violet's glory days.
Oh my goodness! Don't get me started on the plastic pads and all.
I still have a roller hockey goalie stick in my basement.
You also have a Michael Ute stick upstairs too.
I do have a Michael Liu goalie stick too in my house.
All right. Well, obviously we know Sean Leahy's rooting power is for the Ivory Coast, as he has the flag in the background.
A countryman.
Wait, that's not the Ivory Coast?
I'm from the north side.
Oh.
He did tweet out a picture though of Ireland's most famous goal.
Yes. Ray Houghton, 20 years this day,
Against
1994, in the 12th minute,
Yeah.
over Luka Paliuka's head.
Mhm.
Give Ireland a nice 1-0 victory. And really, other than 2002 tying Germany and forcing Spain to penalty kicks in the World Cup, really their biggest moment in soccer. And let's forget everything they've done since then, because that's kind of where it's at.
True.
That's
It's
why I'm
true.
happy Spain's going to crap, because it makes everyone forget how shitty of a performance Ireland had 2 years ago in the Euros.
This is
I
true.
agree.
I like it. The Spanish downfall.
Yeah, it was Ireland has St. Patrick ridding the country of snakes, and then the win over Italy in the 1994 Cup.
Yes, that's all we got. So, and Guinness.
Well, that's because millions of people died because of a side dish famine. So I don't know what the hell was going on with those people.
Hey,
out there.
look, you can have a potato as a full meal. Cut
Really?
that sucker open, load it up, some cheese, sour cream, some butter. You're good.
Listen, just because it's on the Wendy's value menu doesn't make it a meal. You know, that's something that's a life lesson. But you know, what can you do? All right, well, Mr. Leahy, we were going to let you go because apparently you have this parenting thing to do. But we will say this.
I ratted you out. Sorry.
Thursday night, we are going to cause a ruckus
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
no one.
This may be the most epic weekday bender that we'll be on if we go from Wednesday's bowling extravaganza to the
Jesus
show
Christ.
to the U.S. national team game on Thursday morning to leaving for Philly and going to the party on Thursday night.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be fantastic. When is the U.S. game? Quick.
Noon on Thursday, which is great
Oh,
because
Perfect timing.
the NHL's they usually have like an availability with the top prospects the day before the first round. That availability is not until 2:30 on Thursday. So I was very scared I would miss the U.S. Germany game, which obviously could have big implications for the next round. So be happy I'll be able to see that, and then I'll be in Philly till Sunday. So Saturday night, boys.
Oh yeah,
That is ours.
we're doing a show on the afternoon.
Oh yeah, Saturday
Oh,
night's
yeah,
gonna be
of course.
fantastic too. Fitness test Saturday, drinking Saturday night. I mean the best way, right? You said it. You said it. A couple limes gives me the energy back after a fitness test.
That sounded way too sexual than what I.
The drunk show could be our pregame.
It's drunk show. That's gonna be Wednesday. You don't understand what's happening Wednesday, Mr. Leahy.
Yeah, you should come down here on Wednesday.
Yes, 9 bowling alleys one day, drinking all the time from 9:30 until we end up and close the bar at Frank's Den.
Wow.
$2 Natty Bows. It's gonna be
You have
great.
to tell them about the closers too.
The closers, we got a big crab cake on a tiny little bun. It's amazing. Got Hardee's, and there's a hospital right down the road from Johnny's place. It's great.
Are you guys going to make it to Philly the next day?
We'll find a way.
It's not that far, I know, but still.
I'm
might
stocking the house with Pedialyte just in case.
We might have to go the long way through Delaware, but we'll find it. We'll go all through Dover, and it's going to be fantastic.
There's nothing long in Delaware.
Except the coastline. And my balls when I'm in it. But anyway, I don't know what that meant. I can't wait to see you next week, Mr. Leahy. It's been far too long, even though it's only been a year. And we'll go and hang out. We'll paint the town red Thursday night, and then Saturday night we're just going to beat the shit out of some locals.
I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
We're gonna
The
yell
best draft is just going out and drinking.
and get cheesesteaks.
Yeah.
I like it. All right, buddy. Take care. We'll see you next week, and all the best, my friend. We'll see you then.
All right, boys. See you later.
There he goes,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen. Sean Leahy, Puck Daddy, associate editor. Great guy
He should
too.
be. He's been there for years now.
Yeah, he is amazing fella. Great person overall, and yeah, it's gonna be a hoot to see him and hang out. I'm kind of glad they're doing it Thursday night for the party, because it always makes sense. And hey, you know what, Johnny? Fun fact: we got
Last year's Saturday party was tough.
Well, that's because it was that the whole weekend was shit.
Well, I mean, first of all, we missed the train. So then
That
we
too.
took a shady cab driver back to Newark.
Cross state
And-
lines.
And then we all had to wake up at like 10 o'clock in the morning and drive back home 6 hours. You got on a plane the next day, right?
Well, no,
So-
we had the draft that afternoon at 3, and then yeah, you guys drove home after the first round, and then yeah, I took a flight.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We definitely did leave after the first round.
Yeah, and then we had a flight Monday morning, or I had a flight Monday morning that got delayed
Yeah.
a couple of times. But yeah, no, it's a good time. It should be fun.
This trip's
So-
way closer.
Thank God.
Anybody
God.
that's in the area should come to the bowling extravaganza.
Yeah, we'll put it out on
We'll live
Facebook.
tweet it.
We're gonna live tweet it. We're gonna send up video updates. It's gonna be I'm gonna video diary on myself, and then we'll have like a 3-camera shoot through each bowling alley.
I
I've got a-
downloaded YouTube Capture just for this.
Perfect. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, joining the video call that I hope soon. I just see a blue face. He's like an avatar. We could be having Joe Miller, voice of Navy Athletics, on the line. If he can figure out technology. If he can't, then we'll just stammer here and talk about the bowling extravaganza through Anne Arundel County. Anne Arundel County, part Annapolis, the Annapolis area, part of what we're doing in the area. That's where Navy is.
Annapolis is a good place. I think we might actually be going to Annapolis on. He was so close. The best part about this is that no one can see that. Absolutely no one can see
It's
it
just
except
us.
for us, and that is awesome. So yeah, I think Sunday evening we may be going actually to Annapolis to watch the USA Portugal game.
Portugal.
We were on WBFF Fox 45 News on
Really?
Monday night.
Doing weather?
Yes, obviously.
Okay.
I mean, why else would I be on the news? No, they had
There's a
a.
wharf right in my pants.
They had a. The bar that we went to was at capacity at 4 p.m. for a 6 p.m. game.
Awesome.
They were literally letting people out one at a time. It was 1 out, 1 in for the entire time.
Wow.
So yeah, they had they brought in a video camera and set it up, and people were cheering and doing stuff, and we took shots of Svedka,
The hell's that?
Swedish vodka,
Oh,
because the referees were Swedish.
of course.
So you have to get on the good graces of the referees.
Obviously. Attempt number 2. So let's see, this is like the anticipation.
I feel
The
like he's in, but he doesn't. Uh-oh.
Hey, there he is. It's TV and radio's
hello.
Joe Miller.
How's it
Hi,
going?
Joe.
Can you hear
I'm
us
trying
now?
to. I can hear you. Me?
Yeah.
We can hear you a little garbled, but hey, we can still hear you, ladies and gentlemen. WNAV's own Joe Miller. Joe, how have you been, my friend? It's been far too long.
Yeah, I've been good. It has been too long.
Oh, it's a fun time. We're experiencing World Cup extravaganza. Johnny P talking about his trials and tribulations doing weather
Yes.
on WBFF.
I was on
And,
TV,
Congratulations.
which is different because normally when I'm on TV, it's because I'm refereeing games, not because I'm drunk watching them.
And it's not like he was doing the sports rep either, which is just a tremendous cultural icon in the Anne Arundel County area. So there's
it probably hasn't been on for about 5 years, but it sure still get excited, I guess.
I can't go to Crofton without getting mugged, Joe. That's the funny thing, and that has nothing to do with the show. I just go to the bad part of Crofton.
I thought you were tickling Bernie with that.
I'm the mayor of that town. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I live in Glen Burnie.
Exactly. And then you know all about that, Johnny.
True.
But
I
Joe
voted
Miller.
for Scotty to mayor.
Exactly. It was a one-person election, and I still lost. I don't know how that worked. But anyway. Oh. No, Joe Miller, come back. Come back, Joe Miller.
It might be his internet. Maybe his internet doesn't like him.
I think he's got 56K. But listen, the point is this.
The dial-up noise should have been the first thing that told us.
Oh, we should have added Uber conference to this damn thing, and actually called him up. Oh well, what can you do?
Oh well, I don't know how to do that anyway. So yeah,
Joe Miller.
World Cup. The goal today that Sean Leahy is talking about, that Tim Cahill scored for Australia, was absolutely amazing.
It was a cracker
It was.
bar down.
Fantastic! It was absolutely great. I think that is the goal of the World Cup for me right now.
Golden Cup, even better than Van Persie's.
Yeah, I mean I like Van Persie's and all, but they're so similar. The ball for Van Persie's kind of gets pushed out to the left midfielder, and he like crushes a cross in, and Van Persie changes like direction in midair and heads it over the goalie, which was badass. Don't get me wrong. But this one like comes from almost the same position, but on the right flank, and the guy crushes this ball into the box, and Tim Cahill lets it come over his shoulder, and then hits a left-footed volley that just rockets off the bottom side of the crossbar and goes into the net.
Now,
It was awesome.
You understand soccer more than I. I've seen a lot of header goals. Is that usual?
There have been a lot of header goals in the World Cup this year. I mean, I guess that's just maybe that's the way the game is going. People are getting taller. That's what I've heard doing hockey coverage. is that people are now taller and they're bigger.
Interesting.
Yeah, so maybe that's coming into soccer too. You never know. But yeah, John Brooks. John Brooks is the man.
Love me some John Brooks.
Uh-oh, I have an email.
Uh-oh, it's Joe Miller yelling, "What's this confounded contraption?"
He says that his internet is crap.
Okay.
He's trying to get it to work, but it sucks, and there are multiple exclamation points.
Okay. Well, we'll get Joe Miller on eventually. If not, hey, we'll reschedule. We love Joe Miller. He's got an open invite to the show. He's done a lot for the broadcast sponsors community, and a lot for my career. Like I said, me and him, he found the tapes of Sports Rap, where him, David P. Lycomey, John Brown, and sometimes myself, and also Todd P. Butts, were on and did crazy stuff talking about any kind of sports whatsoever. And including because David P. Lycomey lost the bet, saying that the Caps wouldn't be the Canadians, I think in 2002, that I was able to spread Nutella all over David P. Lycomey's face. That's not a euphemism. I literally got a jar of Nutella and spread it all over his face. I had a picture of Kobe Bryant and said Kobe's favorite, Nutella, and this was before the whole Colorado incident.
Yeah, because that's a different kind of spreading all over somebody's face.
Exactly, and this was also before the Nutella craze. Sports Rap was on top of that. Also, the Hurricane
Is this the Polar Bear Report?
No, this is the Sports Rap. It was on Comcast Channel 8 News Act. Like this was like local access TV.
Wow, I never knew you were on TV.
Yeah, no, it was great. I went down to the studios in Annapolis once in a while. I did a hurricane report where it was raining so hard. They sat me out in the little lobby, and I was doing weather reports, doing the usual shtick where I had my finger in my ear, like I had like a little headphone. I'm like, hey, I can't hear you. I have my finger in my ear. That gag, and then
before Brick even.
Yeah, exactly. It was great.
No, I swear I can't hear you.
Yes. It was a good time had by all, and he found the tapes at one of the offices, and hopefully he's going to digitize that and put that up on the internet for everyone to enjoy.
YouTube is the best.
Oh God, you can't get. The
Well,
problem is,
worst comes to worst, I just bought a DVD recorder actually. Like one of the ones that Sean used to have. However, I got the upgraded version. It's black. So, no, we know it's faster. Because it's upgraded, it's the MC6. The MC5 was white.
What was the MC Escher? Is that just a bunch of things that go into another?
Yeah, that one's just weird. You can never figure out which hole you're supposed to put things in.
Sounds like my Saturday nights.
Oh, hello. So I got that, and I am buying a VCR from Goodwill. Because we're going to take Mark and I are going to take our childhood videos and put them on DVDs. Because one, everybody should see me when I was smaller.
Is that possible?
True. And two,
Oh.
I have so much hair when I'm a kid. It's fantastic.
I should have just told you to drop them off at Stan's. Of course, Stan has this kind of garbage.
Obviously, he does. I don't want to mess up his life.
What life? Dealing with the kids and yelling at them?
I don't want him to have to. What are we just gonna tell him they're your videos? Be like, hey Stan, we forgot to put these on DVD. Could you do this for us?
They're
videos of Scotty. They're like, why is Scotty playing soccer?
Here's the problem.
When did he wrestle?
It would just stop Mom's nagging, so that would help him.
Well, so Mom and Dad are both retired now. We Mark and I surprised my mom and went to my mom's retirement luncheon on Monday. It was awesome. Yeah, before the U.S. game. So we dead square lied to her and told her we took off work for the U.S. game only. She didn't even invite us to the retirement luncheon because she was like, oh well, they're going to the U.S. game. Then we show up and she's like, holy crap, you guys are here, and we're like, yeah, whatever.
Where's the food?
Yeah, so we ate. We had gyros. You would be happy. Yeah.
Interesting.
Before the U.S. game, we ate gyros. And then we on Sunday we went to my parents' house for Father's Day, and we at that point lied to my mom, did the whole thing that we weren't going to the retirement gig. And this was where Mark and I came up with the grand idea that because both of our parents are now retired, like it'd be a really cool like retirement gift type of thing, to put our old VHS tapes on DVDs for them so that they could like rewatch them on the Wii and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think we were drunk.
Sounds like something you guys would do drunk.
So on Sunday evening, I found the DVD recorder. I got one on eBay. It is on the way. And yeah, we will be able to start putting wrestling videos of a 45-pound John Patanzo on DVDs. At which point we should just like record them off the TV or something so that we can put them online, because that's just freaking hilarious. Not gonna lie.
Just rip it onto a DVD, or rip it to the DVD, and then rip the DVD to your hard drive, and then upload it that way.
Yeah, true story. So yeah, so that was a long walk to get to the fact that I have a DVD recorder now, and that we could put the tapes of Sports Rap on DVD for you.
Well, no, this is the big like beta size tape. Like this isn't even VHS. This is like the old school camera tape. Yeah, back in the day when TV production was king. So yeah, those will live on in infamy. I loved it. It was a great time.
I think TV's Joe Miller has given up.
That's fine. Tell him for me thanks. And I'm glad he made his Face Off Hockey Show debut, albeit short.
I told him that I said it was okay. You can come on. If you can come on, awesome. If not, we'll have you on whenever. You have an open invitation now that you know how to join us, and then I'll send you something.
And get better internet.
Scotty says, suck it.
Scotty says, where's those Sports Rap tapes you showed me?
Scotty says it was... What did you say?
What? I don't even know
what did you tell him? What do you want me to tell him?
Something about open invite, get a better internet, Sports Rap. How about the Redskins? Eagles.
Scotty says it was great seeing you, and he appreciates that you found the Sports Rap tapes.
There it is. That sounds like something I said. That sounds like something I might have said. Oh boy, tell you what, man, I have 3 more shifts at work next week.
So are they like the Sports Rap? Is that like the Sports Machine? Who is that?
The George Michael? No, we were
George Michael Sports Machine.
We were much less professional and didn't do scores.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad. No, it was fun. Those were a fun time, man. That was just a little ass public access studio, and just hanging out and just shooting the shit.
So like my studio?
Essentially, yeah, a little bit, but they actually had TV equipment in there.
Oh.
It was a camera operation. You had a 1-shot on one host, 1-shot on another host, 2-shot, and then actually it was a 4-camera operation because John Brown wheeled the camera into his production office and he joined the show while he was doing the switches. So that was a fun time. Enjoyed that thoroughly. That was I gotta put that on my resume. The Sports Rap.
Yeah. Why? Hold on. Why isn't that on your resume?
Because I don't have the tapes of it. Because I don't have anything visual proof.
So why does that matter?
Because I want to have a reel from when I was 20 doing TV.
Joe Miller, who's the voice of Navy Sports, could write you something that says what was going on. I mean, that in itself
that is true.
Has pull.
TV's Joe Miller.
Even in Canada.
Especially in Canada.
I mean, come on. Really?
Yeah,
He's the voice of Navy Sports.
He's a voice. Let's be honest. Petey Medhurst is the voice of Navy Sports.
But he's also the voice of of DeMatha football.
That's true too. He's the voice that's not Nate Lewis. He usurped Nate Lewis.
He did.
Poor Nate Lewis.
He was the one man that Nate Lewis didn't beat.
No, didn't. And Pete Medhurst was the second guy he couldn't beat. Oh, goddamn.
I'm not gonna lie. At some point, I really want to get
one.
I want to get a T-shirt made Well, if we could get Nate on, that would be fantastic. Are you serious at this point? I want to
Yes.
get a T-shirt made that has block letters, and it just says 1 man to beat, 2 men to beat, and then has like a dash, and it says Nate Lewis, and
And then-
just like a blue T-shirt with like red lettering on it. And then every time I wear it places, people will be like, "What does that mean?" And I'm like, "This is the greatest T-shirt ever."
Johnny P, I will add a caveat to that. The picture of Nate Lewis as well.
I don't know. Do we
Just
put
him-
that on the front and then the saying on the back?
I
was just gonna go like Nike T-shirt where it's just like wording across the whole thing, and people are like trying to figure out what it means.
I understand that, and that's great, but you can't tell me that Nate Lewis picture that I showed you of him in a radio office just giving a big gunpoint to us with a big ass smile. on
Maybe
his
that's
face.
maybe that's the second shirt in the series.
Ooh, perhaps.
Maybe we could have Nate Lewis wearing a T-shirt of me wearing the T-shirt of Nate Lewis.
All right, we're not getting into a Macaulay Culkin situation. Listen, we're not gonna. I'm all for biting people's gimmicks. That's a little bit too much for Nate Lewis. I can't have Nate Lewis being a viral superstar that way. Please tell me he has his picture up here. Please. Tell me.
Shit.
What happened?
I'll do it next week. I was gonna put the Ray Hudson soundboard on the show this week.
Well, yeah, we got time. All right, Johnny, this is.
We'll do it in a drunken mess next week.
Like, Johnny, look, seriously, you can't tell me having that picture on either the front or the back of the T-shirt wouldn't be fantastic.
Do you know what? Okay, so this is gonna sound outlandish, but hear me through. How awesome would that picture right now be on like a Cafe Press magnet, and we just randomly like put it on the side of your car or like on your refrigerator? Because you can make Cafe Press now makes magnets that you can put on your car.
Johnny,
would you not drive around Calgary with the picture of Nate Lewis? We could get you 2. We would get you 2 of them. You put them on both doors. Kaplow. And you're just driving right down. We'll get you a long one on the back. It'll actually probably be in pieces so that it fits across the whole back of the car. It'll just say 1 man to beat, 2 men to beat.
I'm thinking bigger picture. I'm thinking mouse pad. I'm thinking this picture on a mouse pad.
You know what though? I love Nate Lewis and all.
I love this.
I love the mouse pad idea. I think that's a fantastic idea. But he never gave me my House of Pain beanie hat.
He didn't?
No.
No.
I never got a House of Pain beanie hat.
I have a House of Pain shirt around here somewhere.
I'm so angry. I feel like I, of all people, should have had a House of Pain. There were literally periods of time where we would run from the other room to make sure that the show hadn't dropped, and it was just Nate taking a break. He was pausing in between thoughts. He hadn't spoken for nearly 2.5 minutes, and we were dead certain that the phone had dropped the call.
He's a black Jim Rome.
Before Jim Rome.
Before Jim Rome, he was black Jim Rome. You know what? Jim Rome's a white Nate Lewis.
Yeah, right? Yeah, take that, Jim Rome.
Oh, my goodness gracious. So the Kings won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, they did. That was actually a really good series, even though it only lasted 5 games.
Hell of a series, hell of an ending. I actually had a going-away party on Friday night. Luckily, there was TVs on because it's Canada at the bowling alley. We were bowling 5-pin bowling, and game was on, and then by the time we went drinking afterwards, we were out in the parking lot. I hear a loud scream. I go running in, and Alec Martinez has scored the game winner, ending the whole thing. That was a fun time. So good for the Kings. 2 in 3 years for Los Angeles and the Kings. Buyout period already in effect. Ville Leno, peace out. He's out of Buffalo. Jordan Tutu about to be out of Detroit. Some other people not going to be bought out, but they have until June 30th. So there's that. So that's a fun time. Caps said they're not going to use their buyout. By the way, Jeff Schultz lifted the Stanley Cup.
He did. He did. There was a lot of buzz on whether or not Jeff Schultz was going to get his name on the cup.
Well, he did not play in enough NHL regular season games or didn't play in a finals game, so they'll have to petition him if they want him.
Yeah.
Good luck to that. Even if you petition, I don't think you're going to get started on the cup. God, I didn't want to. And now I want a Nate Lewis mouse pad. Like honestly, like now that thought's in my head and I can't get it out of my head.
Well, shit, I can send me the picture. I can get a Cafe Press Nate Lewis mouse pad. I'll be waiting for you here next week. I mean that will definitely be here before you show up, and it'll make
true.
up for the bullshit of me not being able to get T-shirts done for this thing.
Which that's no fault of your own. You sent those in like mid to late May, and stupid dude couldn't get the T-shirts done, saying there's not enough time. Yes, because you don't check your email frequently, douche.
Yeah, we don't have T-shirts though.
That's fine.
I'm thinking about wearing gray and white plaid pants, black wife beater, and the dark gray white bowling shirt like Sue had in Swingers.
Tremendous.
With black shoes.
Well,
and I need to figure out which socks I'm going to wear, because you said you were going to take the Maryland socks.
Oh,
So
I've got my Maryland socks.
I was thinking
loaded,
about
ready to go.
buying a pair of Batman socks that have capes.
I actually bought those. I bought those for Jen not too long ago. I had to send up to her.
Nice.
Send over
Well,
to
I'll
her.
wear them before... No, I'm just kidding.
I can tell you where to buy them. Go to Books A Million in Arundel Mills.
Okay.
They have Superman, Batman, and a couple
Oh, there's
others.
a Books A Million in oh no, that's the other bookstore in White Marsh.
The Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
They might have it too. Who's to
You
say?
know, I have not been to Arundel Mills since I stopped working there.
Really?
Like in that area. Yeah, so I literally haven't been to Arundel Mills in close to 3 years.
Went there last trip. It's great. Good times had by all.
I did go to Marley Station this weekend though. I was looking for a new pair of running shoes. I actually bought a new pair of running shoes, and I can.
Did you
show
go to one of the 7 Auntie-Anne there?
I did not. I didn't buy the shoes there. I actually ended up
Oh.
trying on a pair of shoes and then buying them on eBay. They were new.
Nice.
I got some dead stock Nikes, which is awesome because like they didn't really sell them anymore, and the
Nice.
ones they had at the store were shitty.
Sounds about right.
But yeah, so I got these
Ooh.
to wear in Philly,
Those
and
are
actually
nice.
to probably run my fitness test in too.
Even better.
They're super comfortable, and the entire thing is like fly knit, so it's like wearing a sock with a sole on the bottom of it.
It's almost like a sleeve, eh?
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice.
So I went to Marley Station. I did not realize, first of all, that the place doesn't open until like 11 a.m.
What? What day did you go?
on Sunday. Sunday.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, but Dick's and like everywhere else was already open.
Yeah, but there's like 6 stores in Marley Station.
So I went to Marley Station and I got there at about 10:45, and none of the stores were open. And I was like, oh well, this sucks. So I kind of felt like a stalker because I was like walking around Marley Station Mall. I was one of like 8 people that was in the mall, which I feel like is normal.
It's a busy day.
Which is normal for the mall, actually. I walked around the entire mall just to do it, and I did pass all 6 Auntie Anne's. I did not eat anything though at them. I decided against it.
Mm-hmm.
The movie theater appears to still be there. I'm not exactly sure if it is or not.
They are renovating it.
I see. The barber shop was open early though. I will say that the barber shop was open before the rest of the mall was. So if you needed a haircut at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, that was the place to go.
Wasn't the Gold's Gym open too?
I'm sure it was. I didn't see anybody walk in and out of it. It's Glen Burnie.
It's true. It's kind of silly to have a 2-tier gym, Gold's Gym.
I mean,
in
the
Glen
irony
Burnie.
of having a Gold's Gym in a mall, first of all, when you're like quite literally walk past 3 Auntie Anne's in order to get to your car, is hilarious. Second of all, the fact that it's in Glen Burnie in a mall is even better.
It really is just a dismal state of
I
things.
mean, honestly, push comes to shove, right? You had a great workout. You lifted some, you ran some, you probably lost a little bit of weight. You stop at the Double T on the way out and pick up breakfast. I mean, why not?
Anytime. Breakfast anytime.
Why not?
Exactly.
It's not quite as bad as White Marsh, though. White Marsh has a Chipotle that's quite literally outside of the Merritt Sports Club that they just built.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Let's be honest. The Double T probably still lighter than Ann's Dairy Cream. That's right there.
Oh, Ann's Dairy Cream. God. That place has fantastic milkshakes, though.
Does it? I've never been.
Yeah, their milkshakes are great.
They bring all the boys to the yard?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's what I've heard. I mean,
by the way, we might have to make a Harley Station stop on our way down the bowling alley of life on Route 2.
Well, if we're tailgating for the first bowling alley, I think that by that point, by the time we're driving down Route 2 to get to the next set of bowling alleys, we'll probably need something to eat.
Well, my theory is this, and I think it's a solid theory. We started in Odenton at 9:30 a.m. Odenton to Annapolis, Annapolis to Crofton, Crofton to Severna Park, Severna Park to Pasadena, then the 3 Glen Burnie lanes, and then we end up in Linthicum. So,
okay,
at 30 minutes a game, probably 15 minutes travel. By that time, yeah, we'll be ready to get some Chick-fil-A, which is the only thing, or that Eden Sbarro that they have there at the mall. Which is classic, which is the only 2 things that are keeping that mall in business.
There's still a Sbarro there?
Yeah, there is.
I thought they went out of business.
They filed for bankruptcy, but they're not closing anything just yet. They also have the Ruby Tuesdays there, so that's something.
The Ruby Tuesdays. Wasn't that where the shooting was?
Was it?
I think so. I mean, it's probably years ago at this point, but I'm pretty certain there was a shooting at Marley Station.
Well, fucking Ruby Tuesdays is real, man. Don't mess with the Ruby
no
Tuesdays.
Fridays.
So. Yeah. Yeah. That's also why you didn't see anybody in the mall because Chick-fil-A was closed. So that's the big get.
That's probably. I did. I almost went back to the made-for-TV store though. Or a Scene on TV. Sorry,
yes.
Scene on TV store. Because I was gonna look for the sledge grass seed that they're selling on the NHL network right now. It's grass seed with some kind of like sticking agent that like goes on top of it and it shoots out green because that obviously means that you're putting down grass seed in your yard, but it stays where it's supposed to be. Like so when it rains and when the wind blows and birds aren't eat through it, it'd be fantastic for my front yard.
All 6 square inches of it.
It's true. It is true.
I
mean, it says it's great for spots, so I was figuring that would be perfect for my yard.
Your lawn is just one big spot, isn't it?
It's true, yeah. I was literally thinking about buying a weed and just letting it grow out. As long as it was green, I was fine with it.
It's fantastic. Goodness gracious. Yeah, well, you're in the right place if you want to get some weed. Glen Burnie is right where you need to be at.
That's true.
Yeah, no, I'm so amped, dude. It's not even less than a week away. I'll be in Maryland. Hooray. Second time as
Telling Joe Miller that the next time he needs to come to my house.
Exactly. Listen, Joe, just show up at the house. It's probably a lot easier this way. Yeah, fun times. Good times had by all. So yeah, the Big Stand Invitational. If you guys want to come out, contact us either at Faceoff Hockey Show at gmail.com, which is our email. Tweet one of us. I don't know, send carrier pigeon. I don't know how you guys get in contact with us, but get in contact with us. Say, hey, I want to be a part of this Big Stand Invitational. So yeah, bowling alley, 9 bowling alleys, 1 day. We got closers in there. We got the show in there. We got Frank's Den after. It's really going to be a sloppy mess when all is said and done. So that's the fun part about it. It's going to be a great sloppy mess. It's Hardee's, maybe Hardee's after Frank's Den. Who's to stay, ladies and gentlemen? And soccer game Thursday before we drive to Philly. It'll be good times had by all. Now are we get to the point after each team face each other, then the groups play at the same time? Is that my understanding?
Yeah, Thursday's games, both games in the U.S. group are at the same time. So I'll play. My computer is already in my living room, so I'll have a 19-inch computer screen that we will watch the other game, the Portugal-Ghana game, and then the USA and Germany game will be on the regular TV.
Perfect.
Yeah. So 12 p.m. We'll, depending upon which one of us is still sober after the game, we'll leave at like 2:30, 3 o'clock ish. We could probably leave a little bit later than that if we wanted to. Get to the hotel, drop stuff off, change, look pretty, to go out and see nobody at the party except for the people that we want to talk to, which is our normal draft party experiences.
It's usually what we do. It's how we roll. Let people come to us. It's not so much that we're cool. We're just antisocial. So we're not too cool for the room. We just don't know half the people there, and the people we do know, we're cool with. So
yeah, half the people that we do know don't want to talk to us anyway.
Exactly.
Right.
We also
TV's Joe Miller is out for tonight. Sorry, everybody that was looking forward to listening to the voice of Navy. He did say that he would love to come on some other time, and that he can do it from his office at work because the internet there is better.
Well, he works at near Comcast, so I hope so. However,
he's on vacation next week, so that means the after draft show. I told him next week was going to be a drunk fest and World Cup talk anyway, but the after draft show can definitely have Joe Miller on it for some World Cupness.
I like it. Humana, hey. What was I going to say? Oh, still the quality there was still better than sometimes when you get and try to get NEW on your or NAV on your radio dial, because it literally has the range of what Sean had at the Crawford office, where we had that little AM receiver, and we can get maybe to the block. WNAV has that kind of power. But hey, we got a little bit of Joe Miller. We got to see what Joe Miller's all about. So there you go. We are waiting now on Lyle Richardson. We'll talk about some draft stuff. We'll talk about the Stanley Cup. We'll talk about all kinds of crazy stuff. A lot of rumors going on. Woo! I'm yawning. Not because I'm tired. It's because I'm tired. Wait a minute. That's close enough. So yeah, it's a good time had by a lot of excitement. A lot of guests. It's a 3-guest show when all's said and done.
Yeah, will be.
Technically a 3-guest show, not a full 3-guest.
We're a mark down though.
We are a mark down. Well, he got sent off.
He did.
Do you know the concert that he's actually attending?
No.
No?
He apparently is talking with somebody at said concert though, because I just got a text message that says that. Okay, so it's him and his girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
One of our friends and his wife, my cousin, and possible some other people are heading to my grandparents' house in Ocean City, New Jersey for the 4th of July, and I was asked if I had plans. Right now, the only single person other than me is my cousin. So this doesn't seem like a great event for me for 4th of July.
I would say not so much.
Just saying.
Lyle, would you like to be a seventh wheel as Johnny seems to be thrown into?
Would I want to join him in that situation, or would I want to be in that situation?
Would you like to be in that situation? I guess is the better.
How do I put this nicely?
Fuck no.
I'll putting it nicely. I would drop the fuck and say no.
Okay. By the way, Mark attending the John Butler Trio and Alan Stone concert tonight. I'm pissed off because he's missing tomorrow night. Hall & Oates is performing at Wolf Trap. He's missing it by a day.
Maybe he'll just stay there.
You know what? Text him and tell him to stay there for Hall & Oates tomorrow.
Damn it, what is wrong with this kid? They make my dreams come true.
And then Friday, Pixar in concert. And then the Saturday, Sing Along Grease. What? Stay all week, Mark. Just be done with it. Ah, Jesus. Hey, Lyle.
How's it going, man?
Oh, you know. We're a lot better than last week, I'll tell you that now. Holy Jesus. Whirlwind couple of weeks here for the Face Off Hockey Show. And,
I'm guessing that sing-along Greece isn't spelled Greece.
That could be. You never know. Get some ouzo in you, and away you go. All right, so the Kings win the Stanley Cup. Huzzah, huzzah. We've mentioned it briefly earlier. Best 5-game series ever.
Yes. Very exciting stuff.
Fun times had by all.
Yeah. Well, unless you were a Ranger, but.
Didn't you kind of know going into it that was a little?
Oh, of course, everybody knew. I mean, I predict it went just as I planned it. Well, 1 game short. I was kind enough to give the Rangers 6. Say it would go to 6 games, but It was inevitable. I said at the start of the season that all roads to the Stanley Cup run through the Western Conference this season, and the Kings were among the 4 or 5 teams that I suggested would be there. Now, to be honest, I mean, I had fully expected that it would be Chicago, and I thought the Blues were going to do better than they did. But I mean, I said it at the start of the season throughout. You can't turn your back on the Kings. They put me in mind, and you guys are too young to remember, but they put me in mind of the New York Islanders, the dynasty New York Islanders team in the early '80s. Not that they did as badly, or finished as low in the standings as the Kings tend to do, but they were sort of that kind of team that, they really didn't hit that switch, if you will, to find that extra effort until the playoffs started. And once the playoffs started, it was almost like, okay, the shit's real now, let's go. And they would just ramp up their effort. And the Kings put me in mind of that team, very much so. It's just like, okay, let's play well enough to qualify, and then after that, we don't give a shit who's ahead of us. We're gonna dial this up because we know how good we are. And the proof's in the pudding. 3 straight conference finals, 2 Stanley Cups in 3 years. This is they and the Blackhawks are going to be 2 of the dominant teams in this league for a while.
We said it a couple times that the LA Kings were no one to be fooled with in the playoffs, and we rebuffed it a couple times, but in the end, our prediction was right.
Yeah.
So
I do love how both of you went into the playoffs saying that the Kings were the team you didn't want to play in the playoffs. The next week they were down 3-0, and you were like, "Remember when we said the Kings?"
Oh, I know. Yeah, at that time, sure, but I mean, when they rallied back from that one, I was just like, "Uh-oh, okay, something's going on here," and yeah, it was very obvious after that. I mean, the additions of Marian Gaborik and bringing up Tyler Toffoli and Tanner Pearson, and then putting Jeff Carter between those two. I mean, that was gold. That gave them a whole different gear offensively they didn't have for most of the season, and yeah, they just turned it right up. So, as I said, Dean Lombardi once again proving everybody this guy's a genius as a GM right now.
Yeah, and you got to figure the Sharks are like, well, we should have kept on this guy.
Yes, but they gave up on him 10 years ago when things kind of fell apart. Well, listen, you make mistakes along the way. He had to learn too, but he did. He did his penance, and boy, did he ever learn. To be fair, too, I mean, he did have a decent, set of building blocks there when he arrived, because his predecessor, Dave Taylor, drafted Anze Kopitar, drafted Jonathan Quick. There were a couple other guys who were key players there. Dustin Brown was another. Okay, so some of those core guys were already there when Dean Lombardi got there, so he didn't fully build it up from scratch, but let's face it, he did a tremendous job afterwards, compiling the rest of it.
What is this? Speaking of the San Jose Sharks, what's their next move? Obviously, Joe Thornton is. Actually, you know what? We'll pause that for a second, because I want to get to, obviously,
okay,
Joe Thornton. Joe Thornton wants to be traded. He prefers the New York Rangers.
Joe Thornton wants to be traded.
Yeah. Someone wants to be traded. Someone said something about something wants to be traded.
Okay, yeah, I know. I heard this kicking around today. There's been nothing actually reported, and I've been checking it as rather frequently at this time of year, like I do, because it's my job.
Yeah, you are too.
Yeah, and I mean, I've heard it kicking around, but I've yet to see anything actually officially reported coming out of San Jose that Thornton wants to be traded. The last thing I heard was that came from his agent a few days ago, who's also his brother, saying, well, Joe loves living and playing in San Jose. He wants to be part of a bringing the Stanley Cup to San Jose. The only way he wanted to, maybe if Sharks fans don't want him there, then he might reconsider. So, I mean, barring an unexpected uprising of Sharks fans and a big dump Joe movement, which sounds dirty, but anyway. Yeah, a little scatological there on my part. Yeah. A dump Joe movement. It's a nice woody sound. Movement, not tinny. But anyway, sorry, I went off on a Monty Python tangent. I'm back now. But yeah, that was the latest that we heard from the Thornton camp several days ago. We've heard actually and absolutely nothing from the Marleau camp. Patrick Marleau is another name that's been kicked around. There was a stupid rumor that floated up last week claiming that the Bruins wanted to swap Brad Marchand for Patrick Marleau. I mean, I shot that down before Peter Chiarelli had to speak up and tell people that was really stupid. No, we're not doing it. What I did find interesting, though, from my whole fallout, though, is that we know now that Brad Marchand is not going to be traded this summer. And Chiarelli's he stated it categorically, I am not trading Marchand. Now, I know people are going to say, oh, it's not the first time the GM's lied to us. And yeah, I know. But in this instance, Chiarelli, when he comes out and categorically states something, it's gold. So he's not going anywhere. Marchand isn't going anywhere. So that's, if they got to free up cap space, they're going to have to look at moving somebody else. Johnny Boychuk. But anyway, yeah. Well, they could move Chris Kelly, but honestly, Chris Kelly's 34. He's just coming off a serious back injury. He's got another $3 million, for I think another couple of years. That doesn't sound like good trade bait for me, or a guy that that other teams are going to go, oh yes, we'll take him in his full salary, please. Johnny Boychuk, though, 1 season left, 3.6, and a pretty damn good defenseman. I mean, listen, do I think the Bruins should move him? No, he's a damn good defenseman. Obviously, they should try and trade him. But they have very few options right now to free up cap space. Plus, let's not forget, they're going to get hit with over $4 million in salary cap penalties this year.
Wow.
Yeah, so even if they turn around and put Mark Savard on LTIR like they're going to, those cap penalties negate that. So they're still looking at only having, right now, they've got $9 million in cap space. They're going to re-sign a Gimla. It's just a question of how much that's going to be. It'll be another bonus-laden contract, but they're going to re-sign him. They got to re-sign Torrey Krug. He's going to look for a raise. They're going to re-sign Riley Smith. He's going to look for a raise. You got to replace or re-sign Chad Johnson as your backup. And you can say, well, maybe bring up Malcolm Subban or somebody like that from the minor. Yeah, okay, great. Well, now his contract is going to count against your cap. So, if you call him up for next season. So, and Chiarelli says he wants to add more speed to his team after getting, waxed there by Montreal. So, they're going to need to free up some cap space. And how do you do it? Well, you're going to have to give up somebody decent in order to do that, and it could be Boychuk.
All right. There's your Boston update, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, sorry for taking into that, but it was just that whole thing with the Sharks. Let's get back to the Sharks. So you were talking.
Well, it was more or less like rumors saying that Joe Thornton wants to be a Ranger. Rumors that Jason Spezza is choosing St. Louis. Marty St. Louis saying he'll only go to the Rangers if he's going to be traded.
No, back that up. You're a little confused there. Yeah, back that. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
How am I confused?
Marty St. Louis said if he gets traded, he only wants to go to the Rangers. So.
Yeah, no, at the trade deadline.
Oh, yeah, the trade deadline.
Yeah. I'm backtracking now to the trade deadline. Like Roberto Luongo for the longest time always wanted to be traded to Florida.
Yeah.
The note to Thomas Vanek wants to go to Minnesota because that's where his wife's from or something like that.
Well, listen, I tell you, if Thornton wants to go to the Rangers, I'm sure the Rangers would be very interested to acquire him and put reunite him with his Davos teammate there, Rick Nash. They got terrific chemistry, but they're buying out. They're gonna have to buy out. Brad Richards, because as I said, they got 3 key restricted free agents to re-sign in Zuccarello, Kreider, and Brassard. Now Kreider, they hold the whip hand with him because he's coming off an entry-level deal. You know, so you can sign him to a bridge contract there. Yeah, it's possible he could get an offer sheet, but you can run that risk, you know, with him. But Zuccarello and Brassard, they're coming off. You know, they've got arbitration rights, and you know, yeah. So you're going to have to re-sign those guys or trade them away, and even then, you're not resolving anything. Okay. Plus, they've got you know, they got to re-sign Anton Strawman, or consider if they're going to re-sign him, and they got a few other guys there. So they're going to have to shed some salary or risk losing those guys, and that's just going to deplete their depth. So, you know, even if you turn around, if you buy Brad Richards, free up cap space, and then you trade and bring in Joe Thornton, well, you haven't really resolved anything. In fact, you're getting older now, and I don't really think that that's a good idea.
No, not at all. I'm
actually getting older too.
Yeah.
By the way, just to throw in real quick, Mark says hi.
Hey, Mark.
He's angry that Brittany didn't win tickets to Hall & Oates.
She should be.
So I guess her kiss is no longer on his list. Well, private eyes are watching him, so there you go.
They are.
Anything else from Mark?
No, that's it.
Sorry, Greece.
He just said it was. He said that there was a hell of a week at Wolf Trap right now.
Yeah, it seems like it, right?
He goes, I've never heard of this band, but Hall & Oates is here tomorrow and Grease this weekend.
Ringo Starr was last week. It was and then what's his name? Ben Folds next week.
Wow.
Wolf Trap, all up in it.
Damn.
But the point I was trying to make 17 minutes ago, before we just got off on the Hall & Oates tangent, the fact that a lot of guys are kind of, I guess, holding the teams that they are with hostage with only one or two teams to go to. Is this an epidemic that is going to be a trend? And is it going to bite some of these guys in the ass and bite the NHPA in the ass in terms of when it comes to, I guess, I don't know, the NHL claiming that these players are holding them hostage or something?
And that's a load. That's a load of BS if they want to claim that. This was something that was mutually agreed upon. And listen, it was the teams that pushed for limited no trade clauses rather than the full no trade clauses. All right, so they have no right to bitch. Of course, they're going to anyway because that's what they do. Wham, they're holding us hostage. Well, tough shit. You signed this. Okay, honor your part of the agreement and stop whining. Okay, now, in terms of where Spezza wants to go, I mean, really, there's only three teams, as I see it, really in the running here. Now, perhaps another one will jump in there and surprise us, but really, it's Anaheim, St. Louis, and I see Dallas as a dark horse here for Jason Spezza. Those three teams. Well, listen, Dallas has significantly improved. You throw Jason Spezza in there, and I think you're really going to kickstart them, put him down as your second line center because Tyler Seguin's got the first line role, and I think would be comfortable in the second line role there. Okay, I really do. So I think Dallas, is a dark horse for that one. But other than that, yeah, but those three teams, St. Louis and Anaheim, they all have plenty of depth in young talent that they can afford to part with that would really be attractive to the Senators. Now, I think the Senators I think Brian Murray would love to try and ship him to Anaheim because you got to figure he wants to get back that first round pick he gave up for Bobby Ryan, which is 10th overall in this year's draft. So I think he would really love to get that pick back, plus one of the young players, like maybe a Nick Bonino, maybe you try and push for a Devant Smith-Pelly, a young player like that, try and grab a prospect in there and get that first round pick. If he can get that for Jason Spezza, he's done a good day's work. So I definitely think he wants to push it toward Anaheim. But if not Anaheim, though, you got St. Louis. They've got plenty of depth there that you can draw from. So I really do think it's down to those three teams. And in that case, this whole thing, if anybody's trying to say that Spezza's holding the Senators hostage, well, that's nonsense because in my opinion, there's really only three teams in the running anyway.
Send them to Anaheim. Get Jacob Silfverberg back. That'd be
something. There you go. Maybe that happens. Who knows?
GMBM said that Braden Holtby's the number one guy.
Mm-hmm. No surprise there, I don't think.
And he also said they're looking for a vet backup. Obviously, where does he go? I say he just goes to Europe, pick somebody there, and hope for the best.
Well, you could do that, but I mean, Oh, go ahead.
No, that was about it.
Well, because I think there is, listen, there's enough guys I think in this summer's market that you could bring in as a veteran backup. I really do. Somebody that you could bring in there. If you want, hey, Tim Thomas is kicking around there. I think at this stage he'd be a perfect guy to bring in there as a backup. I really do. I think he would do a fine job in there as a backup. And I think, really Braden Holtby needs a mentor. And I don't mean for political views, obviously. I'm talking about, for the playoff. Say what you will about Tim Thomas, but come on, the guy is a proven winner. He's no longer capable of being a full-time starter, but I think if he wants to play, he can still work out for you as a backup, as a mentor guy. Maybe you look at somebody like Marty Brodeur on a 1-year deal. Why not? Why not? I think he'd be perfect. That's even better, I think.
Tremendous.
Yeah, exactly. So why not look at that? Give that some consideration. So there is some guys there that you can drop on if you're looking for an experienced backup. If you want to go a little younger, Chad Johnson, we mentioned earlier with the Bruins, he's going to be available. But the problem there, though, is that you could wind up in an Anton Khudobin situation. Because you remember, of course, last year, Khudobin came in unrestricted free agent, went to Carolina, outplayed Cam Ward, and now he's pretty much got the starter's job now. Mm-hmm. So you really don't want to have that situation flare up, because they really want to look at getting Holtby back on track. Because as we've discovered, everything's kind of unfolded from that whole schlemazel, from the firing of the coaching, the general manager, and all of that was, I guess things weren't going too well with the old goalie coach. So kind of made him a little uncomfortable in all of the bouncing around and everything. So they want to bring some stability in there for Braden Holtby, and I think that's a good idea. Don't give up on this guy. He's shown enough talent that this is, in a way, this is kind of like Carey Price's situation in Montreal from a few years ago. Remember when Habs fans were all pissed off that they decided to trade Halak and keep Carey Price? Well, 4 years later, that turned out to be the smartest move they could have done. And I still say the same thing, Braden Holtby. Don't give up on this kid too early. Get him in a better situation. Get him back on track. Get a good mentor in there for him as a backup. Somebody who isn't going to challenge him for the starter's job, but can help him in that role. Then I think, yeah, absolutely, it'll be worthwhile.
And luckily, Mitch Korn now the goalie coach for your Washington Capitals, so it's a huge pickup for them.
Mm-hmm.
The big difference, though, is that do you really want to bring in a name like a Brodeur or a Tim Thomas?
Well, you don't have to, but I'm just saying that's what's available. Yeah, but that's...
You know that they're going to be a backup. Does that cause a distraction in having Martin Brodeur as your backup?
I don't think so. Listen, he's only there for 1 year. He's only there for 1 year. He's not going to steal your job from you. He's only there for a year. Same with Tim Thomas. He's only there for a year. This isn't some young guy or some guy of a comparable age or slightly older who can steal the job from you. So that's why I think that would be a good idea. They got the experience. They got the smart. You can benefit from it.
I would trust Tim Thomas more than I do Marty Brodeur in a role of mentor, simply because I don't know, something about Marty Brodeur. I don't think that his ego is going to allow him to be a backup, even though we all know he should be in that role, because he fought tooth and nail with the Devils last year in terms of, like, trade me somewhere I'm going to play or something like you could tell at the backup role he was not adjusting well to it, and I think that could cause a distraction. But not so much that he might not be he could be the greatest mentor in the world, but the attitude he gives off is something that's a little bit leery to at least me from the outside looking in.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that point. But again, you got to look at the situation. He's going to have to look at where he's going to be when the music stops. After the initial crush of free agency is over. He could be left sitting there. Because listen, yes, Martin Brodeur, goaltending legend, future Hall of Famer, no question about it. But dude, you're in your 40s now. Your best days are well behind you, and people are only going to look at you for this season if you want to play 1 year as a backup. So take that role or don't play, or retire. Now, I would rather see him retire. I think there's always something, when you see somebody who's been a star for so long that they just can't accept the reality of their situation. They keep thinking that, well, just one more year. If I got enough for one more year, I can go out in a blaze of glory. Well, 9 times out of 10, that never happens. Teemu Selanne, love Teemu Selanne, but he should have retired after last season. He really should have. It was painfully obvious this year. Yes, he had a couple of shining moments there in the playoffs, but all that did for me was just serve as just a sad reminder of what he once was.
So
I agree with that completely.
Yeah, I never got the Temu hype, to be quite honest with you. So I thought he should have retired 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But Jaromir Jagr seems to defy the odds. I don't understand it.
Well, that's the difference. Jagr is still playing at he's not playing obviously at the superstar level that he used to. But
he took off
that's impossible.
Off when he was playing in Russia. I mean,
yeah, and that didn't I don't think really help the situation that much. But regardless, I mean, look at how well he's played. I have to admit, last year at this time, I thought that he should have retired because he looked so slow in last year's playoffs. As the playoffs went on and on and on, he just looked so slow. But I mean, he impressed me this year. He really surprised me and impressed me. And the Devils did a good job keeping him back. He wanted to stay in New Jersey. He believes in what they've got going there. And but he's that rare exception to the rule. He gave no indication with his play this season that absolutely he should retire. So now if his play declines this season, then you could turn around and say, okay, it was worth it to come back for that one more year, but now you're done. Hang him up. But no, he did very, very well there, and I think he believes that New Jersey's a good fit for him, given evidently by how well he played. So that's that rare exception to the rule.
And you have to figure the style of play also helps him out as well. I mean, that's a much slower style of play, and it's not as high tempo. So I'm sure that helps out a lot as too. And hey, he's a guiding light. He's the guiding light for the Devils right now.
Yeah.
Until Adam Henrique can actually find his mojo again, and then everyone's happy.
Well, I mean, I may be completely talking out of my ass, but I don't think that he was that great in Dallas. So I think that maybe the style does help him out a lot.
Yeah. It just you're right. It depends. I mean, when he played with Philly, he was a good fit there. But they put him in a lesser role too. Mm-hmm. I mean, he wasn't expected to be the guy, and their style did kind of seem to suit them. It just did seem to suit him as well, and that seems to be the whole key with Jagr is you've got to find the right team to plug him into. That fits the right style for him right now.
The draft is a week away.
By the way, congratulations on you guys getting recredentialed after all that schmozzle.
Lyle, it was a sigh of relief for us, and something where I didn't have to burn down the credential trailer. Yeah. So that's something that helps out a lot. The point I was going to make, and we appreciate it, and we will let you know if we do a draft show. Doo-doo.
Well, if you do. Well, listen, we can always do what we did the last 2 years during the drafts, and we can jump in and definitely got to jump in and do spots during that because this one's going to be busy. I think we're going to be busy on the opening day of the draft for sure. So.
We'll get to that in just a second because I want to talk to you a little bit about that. But a lot of team without any coaches right now. How problematic is that?
Well, it becomes an issue. It'll be an issue for some teams or for some players. For re-signings. If you're looking to trade a guy, buyouts, signing free agents. But you got a team like Florida saying they will have a new coach in place by the start of the draft. So I would say by next week we should expect an announcement. The Penguins are going through their hiring process right now. I don't know if they'll have a guy ready before the draft or not. Your Canucks, of course. I have a feeling they could have a guy in place before the draft. It's been fairly quiet there, but if there's one thing I've learned lately with Trevor Linden, being the team president, when things are quiet, that usually means that stuff's going on behind the scenes, as we saw with his hiring of Jim Benning when people were freaking out, why did he hire a GM by now? And then the very next day he'd announce, it's already been taken care of, guys. Chill out, relax.
We got this, guys, don't worry.
Yeah.
Apparently, Brad Treliving forgetting he's the Flames GM there for a
That
second.
was hilarious.
That
My
was
God,
great.
that was a great. But I mean, of course, he's being facetious. But it was just, the 100% Fantasy Island thing. But well, which did kind of seem that way. But I mean, listen, I broke down the trade offer as saying, well, listen, it's not as bad as our pal Bruce Garriock tried to claim that it wasn't. I mean, if the Flames actually did make that offer, it was pretty decent, at least for a starting point. But then to hear that no, it was absolute Fantasy Island, I was like, yeah, well, I kind of figured it would be. But anyway, I'm sure we'll find out in the next couple of days from Bruce Garriock, who'll swear up and down that unlike what Brad Treliving was saying, they did make an offer. And away we'll go.
I just say he was counting his money for when Jim decides to retire and he takes over the Boston Pizza Fortune. So he's just making sure all that finger cooking is all ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
All right, draft time.
Yeah,
We've got a lot on the table. There's a lot of moves that could happen.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people saying that first overall pick's up for grabs. A lot of people saying this. A lot of people saying that.
And it is.
What should we believe? What can we believe? And what should we just completely throw out altogether?
Well, that's kind of a big
And go.
Yeah, that's kind of a big bro. Well, we do
We
know
have
they
at
are.
least a half an hour left, Lyle. Go.
Okay, and go. Blow. Let me tell you, where do I begin now?
Let's start with a definition of draft.
Yes, and
What happens when
The
a
first
window is
draft
cracked
was
open?
held.
yes, in 1954, when Jim Sumbasum was drafted first overall.
Did he play for the Sabres?
By what team? By the by a team which no longer is in the city which they started. There you are. That's all I'm going to tell you. Well, anyway, let's get cracking here. No, well, the Panthers are still.
Hold on. Did you just say that we're gonna get crack in here now?
Kraken.
Kraken, the rum, the Kraken. Yes.
I heard that wrong. I didn't.
Yes. No. I'm not related to rum.
Going.
No, I'm not from Ford Nation. I'm not. No, I don't. Yeah,
Good.
yeah. When I say Kraken, I'm talking about the rum or the mythical aquatic beast, and yeah, okay. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, good.
I have my dignity, sir. Anyway, no. Well, the Panthers are, listening to offers for that pick. They're definitely willing to move it if they get a good return. But I think the real problem here for them, though, is it's possible they could get what they're seeking, but again, this is a kind of a weak draft year. I mean, it's not that the players are crap. These guys that are in the top five, prospects. It's not that they're terrible picks, but let's face it. Next year is the Connor McDavid draft, and believe me, if he was on the table and the Panthers were willing to trade it, if he was available this year and the Panthers were willing to trade him, absolutely, they would be just, lots of offers coming their way. Right now, for a guy like Aaron Ek, the possibility to be able to draft maybe Aaron Ekblad, maybe not so much. At the end of the day, it's quite possible that, they'll stand up there and, with the first round pick, the Florida Panthers select Aaron Ekblad, because that's what they've already said they would do if they couldn't move the pick. But I do believe that, and I said this last week, that Dale Talon is basically just trying to, kind of rattle things up for the interested teams behind him, because he knows there are teams behind him who want Aaron Ekblad, who are hoping he'll still be available, maybe 3rd, 4th, 5th overall, that maybe might even drop a little lower than that. So by throwing that out there and saying, well, if we don't get a deal we want, will you probably use that pick to select Aaron Ekblad? He's just trying to make those guys nervous to see if they won't sweeten the deal.
Yeah, the interesting thing about the Panthers is that it's nice and carte blanche, but at the same time, Dale Talon doesn't know how to use a fax machine.
No, he's given that over to somebody who does know how to use it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The interesting pick is that while they have decided, other than that, you don't know what other teams are going to do. Aaron Ekblad does seem like on a lot of people's radar because he seems the most NHL ready. But you have a lot of teams that might need that offensive powerhouse, might need a Reinhardt, might need a Bennett, might need a
Draisaitl.
There it is, the German.
Yep.
So it's not as cut and dried as Aaron Ekblad being the top pick. We could
No.
saw in 2002 where the Panthers trade down a couple spots and still get the guy they wanted, like Bogus.
Yeah, exactly. I think when it comes to trades, I mean, listen, it's going to be more swapping players. Established players are going to be moved before draft. That first overall pick. It's still a possibility, obviously, and I think a lot of people are hoping that Gary Bettman that after he says welcome to the draft and thanks a cajillion people in Philadelphia for their hospitality, that the next words out of his mouth is we have a trade to announce, and off we go to the races. But if he does say that, it could very well just be involving a couple of established players in two different teams. So
if you were a GM at the draft table, what team would you be and how much noise would you make? Like, what's the team that's going to make the biggest noise that we haven't heard about yet? Because I mean, you hear a lot that like in Ottawa or San Jose or whatever. Philly, obviously, they have a lot of crap they have to deal with. But is there a team out there that no one knows about that's going to make the biggest noise out of all the teams when all's said and done?
Oh, you mean in terms of just overall player movement and trades, or
I think just
trying to trade up?
Guys that I guess dark horse teams that are going to come, like you said, Jason Spezza to Dallas would be a dark horse situation. Is Dallas the dark horse team that could come in and swipe in maybe a key guy here and there, or is there another team out there that could pick up a team in turn and I guess trade for position?
Well, as I said, I mean, Dallas right off the bat, I mean, Jim Nill showed everyone last summer that, he's not afraid to make a bold move if there's a good deal to be had to help his team. The one club I think we got to keep an eye on, obviously, is Toronto. And, I know Toronto gets thrown every year, but this is a different reason now. It's just because we've seen that change, that change in the front office, but at the same time they're keeping Randy Carlyle, and right now there's been almost like a cone of silence. I mean, we've heard the odd media speculation, just purely media driven. Oh, the Maple Leafs are interested in Joe Thornton. Well, shit, if there's a dozen teams that'll be interested in Joe Thornton if he goes on the market. I mean, the Leafs would be no different. But things have been really kind of unusually quiet in Leaf land, so far, and that's got me thinking that they're going to go one of two ways with this, and our pal James Myrtle brought up, encapsulated it perfectly. He said they're going to have to go one of two ways. It's either do you blow it up and go for younger players, or do you try and do like the Stars did last year and do like that make a kickstart trade that's going to really help put your team over the top. So I really think that, not for the usual reasons in the past where the Leafs were always rumored to be after everybody, because we really don't have that indication going on now. But I think that because it's been so quiet, that that's a team to keep an eye on. I think there's going to be some movement going on there in Toronto. And they really have to do something. They really do, because you missed the playoffs 8 years of the past 9. Something's got to go on. The Edmonton Oilers, they're another team to keep an eye on as well, because, man, 8 straight years and no playoffs. It's desperate times there now. It really is. I know that they like to talk patience, everything like that, but let's face it, the fan base is getting pissed. Something's got to be done. They're tired of waiting. They've been waiting for so long for this thing to happen. So you got to keep an eye on them. And keep an eye on the New York Islanders, because listen, they've got to come up, in the cap space. Gar Snow has said he's going to be aggressive, and I think he's definitely going to try and bring in something that's going to help him out. I think he kind of tipped his hand there with, the Dan Boyle thing. It was a shot in the dark. I think realistically he knew there was no chance, but it was worthwhile to try. So, and Buffalo's another club. I mean, they're sitting pretty at second overall. Okay, but Tim Murray is, he said that, look, I want to rebuild with youth, but by the same token, I'm not just going to stick solely to that. If he can grab onto a player that he can toss in there, now via trade, that absolutely he's going to do it. And again, this is a team. These are teams we haven't heard very much of it from the Islanders, other than when they made the acquisition for Boyle. We've heard very little from the Sabres, other than buying Ovilliano, which everybody knew they were going to do. And as I said, with the Leafs. So, I mean, just with those clubs, it's, that sometimes when it's very quiet like that's usually an indication that something could be up. So I would certainly keep an eye on those teams.
The biggest name that you think is definitely going to move on trade or on draft day is who?
Oh, Jason Spezza, if he's not gone before then. You know,
All right.
it's. I think it's going to be Spezza, and it's not just because he is the biggest name, but you know, you look at the situation. He wants out. He's giving his list of 10 teams he doesn't want to be dealt to. We already know where the perfect fits are going to be. You know, yeah, I know Ryan Kessler's name is out there. That could kind of affect things a bit, but honestly, Kessler's doesn't hold that same cachet, I don't think, as Spezza does. I really don't. You know, I think Spezza just, you know, teams that are looking for that offensive talent, you know, and those three clubs are, you know, Kessler will give you that, yeah, but Kessler's more of a two-way guy, you know, whereas Spezza is mainly offense, and put him in that second line role, as I mentioned earlier, you know, away from the pressures of what he was facing in Ottawa for his whole career up to date. And, you know, I think that's the better situation. So, yeah, you know, sure, Thornton could go. Marleau might go. You know, Kessler is probably going to be gone. I think he's going to be moved. But I definitely think Spezza is going to be the name guy that's going to be on the move.
Dan Boyle ends up where?
Ooh, good question. It wouldn't surprise me to see him go to Florida. Especially now that we've heard it. Now, this is the thing that, you know, talk about player hearing of players who might want to leave certain teams. Well, apparently Brian Campbell wants out of Florida.
I forgot he was still in the league.
Yeah, I know. It's easy to forget him. I'm buried all the way down there. but honestly, that was reported today that Campbell could seek a trade, that he could want to get out of Florida. And if that's the case, I think the Panthers would definitely make a big push for him, and he would be, I think, willing to entertain that. I mean, that's where he got his start. You know, he liked playing in Florida. Obviously, he won a cup with Tampa Bay. You know, it's a completely different ownership and management in Florida with the Panthers now than when he started his career. So, you know, I could see that. I've heard him linked to the Toronto Maple Leafs, but I don't think that's a good move for the Leafs, because the Leafs are chock full of puck moving defensemen. They need shut down guys. Dan Boyle is not a shut down defenseman. He's a good two-way defenseman, absolutely. He's responsible in his own zone, but he's not overly physical. Okay, and I don't believe he's a good fit there for Toronto. So I would say Florida. I think I think that's the obvious destination. But there's some other places. I think the Detroit Red Wings would certainly be interested in as a short-term measure. You know, until the trade market improves for quality defensemen. I definitely think that's an option for him.
Man, if Florida wasn't in the division they're in, they'd be a scary team. If they were still in the Southeast, then I think they have something going. I think they could make some noise. They're not going to make the playoffs. I'll give you that fact right now.
Well, it depends on the moves. I mean, Dale Talon's going to be busy. There's going to be trades going on. I mean, especially if Campbell wants out of there's going to be trades. But listen, they've got a good core of young players there. Bobby Lou's their goaltender, so, you know, I mean, say what you will about him, but he's still a darn good goalie. He played well for them when he was dealt to them. He's happy where he is, so I mean that's going to help too. Obviously, they're going to want to try and bolster the defense there for him. But you look at the young talent, Huberdeau and Barkov and oh god, the names are eluding me here now. But they have young players, trust me. So, no, but they do.
There are players to be had, damn it.
Yes, no, but they do. You guys know that. I'm just rattling off the two of their best ones. Jugstad being another one. You know, and you know they might move Kulikov or they might keep him, especially if Campbell wants out of there. So there's another decent defenseman in there as well. I think the Panthers are in good shape if they can bring in the right kind of veterans. 3 years ago, it was just catch as catch can. We've got to get to the cap floor. We got $32 million to spend, so we're going crazy. Not quite as much this time, still a fair bit, but yeah, he wants to shake things up there. So, you know, with the right pieces, you can't rule them out.
You have anything else, Lyle? I can't think of anything else that I have planned for you. I mean, we kind of touched on a little bit of everything. Unless you want to expand upon the Stanley Cup banter, not much. Aside from the fact that Mark's over/under got blown out of the water. You know.
Well, Well, I'll put it to you this way very quickly. In the first round, I went 7 for 8. In the second round, I was 3 for 4. Third round, I was totally blew it, 0 for 2.
Wow.
And I, of course, correctly picked. So this is one of my, but this was overall, this is one of my best years for predictions in a long time.
Successful year.
Yeah.
Good thing you didn't face that inanimate object that just agrees with you.
We got to get a new orb or something, man. The old one.
I think we just got a new.
The old one was better. You got to get an old classic orb and do with that, because doing this electronically doesn't work, man.
I think the fact that the schedule kind of screwed us for that second round.
I think that didn't help.
It's just like, what's that? We have 2 games to decide them all. They both play Thursday, and then the series starts that Saturday. Shit.
Shit. Well, kind of hard.
By the time we meet again. All right, the hell with it. We'll scrap it.
Oh, very interesting though. Actually, situation going on though with your Colorado Avalanche.
Developing situation.
And it's our old pal Ryan O'Reilly popping back up again.
Try to sign him again.
Pick him back up in the old rumor mill again. Well, for the second time in as many years, it looks like he and the Avalanche could be facing contentious contract negotiations because the Avs are taking him to salary arbitration.
Ooh, good.
Yeah. Now, very, very, very. I'll try and make this as briefly as I can. It involves legalese, and we got 15 minutes to kill. What the hell?
Well, not so much that as we all watch Night Court as a kid.
Let me consult my big thick book of.
It is true.
No, but okay, but a couple of things I did learn that's come out of this whole thing with the O'Reilly. Well, first of all, the reasons why they're taking salary arbitration. His agent believes that the starting point for negotiation should have been $6.5 million, which was his actual salary for this season. The Avs believe no, it should start at $5 million, which was your average salary for this season. And that, of course, is why they didn't bother. It would have cost them $6.5 million to qualify his rights if they, So that's the first big reason why they took him to salary arb. But that's where the discrepancy is. There's a discrepancy of $1.5 million per season here for their starting point. Now, if it goes to arbitration, he cannot get any lower than 85% of what his actual salary was. So that means we're looking at about $5.5 million is what he could get on a 1 or 2 year contract, and it would be his choice. The length of contract term would be by his choice. That's something different that's come in under this CBA. It used to be before the arbiter made that decision, but now it'll be up to O'Reilly. You got to figure if he goes to arbitration and that's what he gets awarded, he'll take a 1 year deal. If they give him 6.5, if the arbiter decides no, I believe you should get $6.5 million, then he'll probably take the 2 years. But it does make things rather interesting because he's 2 years out from unrestricted free agency because he joined the league when he was 18. So, yeah, age 25, he becomes that young UFA guy. A up-and-coming player, two-way guy. Correct me if I'm wrong, is he not a nominee for the Selke this year?
I don't
think
so.
Is.
No,
He will be soon. If it's not this season, in the very near future. I remember hearing his name kicking around. I know it's Bergeron, Kopitar. Who's the other one? It probably isn't him.
I'll look it up. Keep going though.
Thank you. Yeah. Anyway, but regardless, that's the way that situation looks. Now the two clubs the two sides can keep negotiating until July 15th. After that, an arbiter's date is set, and I'm not sure they can continue to negotiate right up to the date of arbitration, but they can continue to negotiate up July 15th. But here's an interesting twist. Under the new CBA, starting on June 25th, rival teams can contact him and just kind of shoot the breeze, wink, wink sort of thing. So it's not just, we can talk to unrestricted free agents. They can also talk to restricted free agents as well. Yeah, and there is a brief window because originally in the past, if a team took a player to arbitration or if a player filed for arbitration, he was exempt from receiving an offer sheet. He was ineligible, couldn't get an offer sheet. There is actually a 5-day window from July 1st to July 5th where O'Reilly or any other RFA even if they're being taken to arbitration, can receive an offer sheet from a rival team. So that really makes things interesting. And Adrian Dater of the Denver Post, he's kind of speculating that, this could all mean that the Avs could put him on the trade block. Because do you really want to risk, if you haven't gotten anything hashed out with this guy before July 1st, do you really want to risk a rival team, throwing say a $7 million per season on a 7-year deal offer sheet to him? Because we all know the salary cap's going up. It's going to go up to, you're going to hit close to $70 million. And as a side note, it could actually go a little higher than that, because the NHL and the NHLPA, they could agree on using the revenue from that new Canadian TV contract to count against the cap for next season. If that happens, the cap could jump perhaps to $74 million.
Oh boy.
So yeah, you could be looking at almost a $10 million jump if that happens. So just something to kind of file away. So if but even as things stands, if the cap's going up $5 or $6 million, there's still, that's plenty of money, and teams can be desperate and go, well, hey, and let's face it, maybe if you sign Ryan O'Reilly at 7 years, it's at $7 million a season, that might seem like an awful lot of money now, but if he blossoms into a perennial Selke nominee, then that turns out to have been a wise investment. So a lot of that floating around out there. So that's why Adrian Dater's kind of speculating that maybe the Avs might consider putting him on the trade block.
Johnny Taves, the third nominee. Kopitar.
Thank you. Yeah, I didn't think that it was, I think he should have been, to be quite honest. But nothing against those three though. They're definitely deserving, candidates. But Ryan O'Reilly's going to be in that amongst that group in the very near future.
You amped up for the awards, Lau? I mean, this is taking the world by storm.
Oh, let me tell you, Scotty. French toast, please.
Am I the only one here?
That's okay. What happened? Where am I? They didn't. I'm trying to find out. Let me find out.
Speaking of things going on right now, how about the World Cup?
Hey-oh! Absolutely. Let's face it. As soon as the Stanley Cup final was over, it was just like, great, World Cup, please. Thank you.
All right, we got a big thing. What's that? Oh, the NBA Finals done too. Shit, nothing else is going except baseball and World Cup. World Cup.
World Cup. Like I said, I love it, and I love the fact that Sportsnet does the replay of the previous day's games the following morning while I'm writing. So I mean, if by chance I miss a game, and it has happened a couple of times here because I've had deadlines to meet and shit, hey, no worries. I'll see that game being replayed the next morning while I'm doing my work on my, updating my site. It puts me right in mind of the World Cup 4 years ago in South Africa, where all the games are out in the morning. It was great. Loved it.
Yes. I will say that ESPN put together perfect timing to add Chromecast to their Watch ESPN app.
Because,
the games that I've missed so far that I wanted to watch and didn't record, I've just watched off of my phone.
Yeah, there you go.
Which is amazing.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, and I can't get over like the amount of goals. I mean, my God.
Rico Flato loves it.
And how lopsided some of these. But mind you, though, I mean, last night's game, the Mexican goalkeeper was just unbelievable.
I was drinking Corona in his honor.
There you are.
And we don't like Mexicans.
But he made 3 or 4 just unreal, absolute game savers, and so while there's been a lot of great goals, there's been some outstanding goalkeeping as well. So I mean, yeah, it's been very exciting so far.
Can I read you off the list of hockey fans that are going to be in pre-tape segments?
Oh please, why not? We've got time to kill now.
Oh boy, and Johnny, tune up. Get ready for this. There you go. First off, George Strombonomopoulos, the host of
George Snuffleupagus.
Hockey Night on Rogers. He's going to be
Because that's what it is from now on. Hockey Night on Rogers.
Oh man, tell you what, they're plucking everyone off CBC except for PJ.
Well, they're plucking the for the most part they're getting the best guys.
The good names.
Elliot Friedman, Scott Oak, absolutely great hires. You knew they were going to keep Ron McLean and of course Don Cherry. If nothing else, because Don Cherry just in his array of suits and his old man yells at cloud moments are just off the hook. So.
And hey, they got Dave Randorf and Paul Romanuk back, so there's good.
Yeah.
In pre-taped segments, ladies and gentlemen, David Boreanaz from Bones. He will be in a pre-taped segment. Cuba Gooding Jr.
Oh, well, Cuba Gooding. Hey.
Show me the money.
Retta from Parks and Recreation.
Who?
The big black woman.
Who?
Eric Stonestreet from Modern Family.
Who?
David Walton.
Who?
I don't know that one either. Michael J. Fox.
Hey, right on.
Susan Sarandon.
Yeah, okay.
James Lipton.
I love it.
From the Inside the Actor Studio?
That is correct. Kevin Conley.
Who?
From Entourage.
Who?
He did the 30 for 30 from the Islanders.
Okay, I take it back. That was... I'm sorry. That's where I know him from, not from Entourage, which, sorry, no.
Unhappily Ever After with Nikki Cox as well. He was on that back in the 90s. And, of course, Whoopi Goldberg will be featured in a pre-taped segment.
You get to draft. You get to draft. You get to draft.
No,
No, that was
Oprah.
I'm just kidding.
Also scheduled to present are NBC's Doc Emmerich and Eddie Check, who announced the winner of the. This is the best. By the way, this is the best.
Hold on. Whoopi Goldberg was in Sister Act, though, right?
Yeah.
She was also in that movie Eddie, where she was the
Is
coach.
she gonna sing?
Yes.
And she was in Ghost too.
And she also has no eyebrows.
That's where she won her Academy Award.
This is the best part of the release.
Great movie.
Best part of the release. Also scheduled to present our NBC's Doc Emmerich and Eddie Olczyk, who will announce the winner of the EA Sports NHL 15 cover contest with a special appearance by the hip-hop dance crew Jabberwockies, who will perform their show Prism nightly at the Luxor Hotel and Casino. Lyle, it gets better.
God, I hope Shaq is there.
Oh, I hope he is too. It's going to be fantastic. Also, special performances from platinum recording artist Philip Phillips.
Who?
Exactly. He won American Idol, apparently. And award-winning DJ Steve Porter, known for his sports remixes, will entertain the audience.
Oh, we are scraping the bottom of the entertainment barrel, aren't we?
I turned down the awards this year because I said, "You guys." That's probably why they booked. What's that?
Was Shaka Khan already booked?
What? They're not bringing Def Leppard back?
They got DJ Steve Porter because apparently everyone else with the computer and music making software was busy.
Well, sales of GarageBand are down.
Yeah.
I'm so glad. Yeah, because it comes automatic now in new iPods.
Yep.
I am so glad that I'm on a flight to Maryland when this is going on.
Oh, let me tell you, you know where I will be? Sitting outside on my deck enjoying the evening and not paying any attention to it, and I'll be finding out about the winners later that evening on the
Like
NHL
everyone else.
website, like everybody else. It's so cringeworthy. Why embarrass yourselves? Why do this, NHL? You've just come off a wonderful, best season ever. It really has been. $3.7 billion in revenue. Gary Bettman was voted in it. Sports Business Journal voted Gary Bettman, League Executive of the Year. This cuts across all sports. The Winter Classic was voted the best sports event of the year.
As it should have been.
As it should have been, absolutely. You've just had, I think, what was from start to finish one of the best NHL postseasons in recent memory.
I'd say.
Definitely one of the most exciting. And and you're coming up to the, you got the entry draft coming up next week, and that's going to be exciting, with all the trades and the prospects and the festoonery and tomfoolery and on, and then free agency soon afterwards. So why embarrass yourself with this cheesy award show with, and no offense to some of these actors and actually that I actually like Susan Sarandon and Cuba Gooding Jr., who are actually genuine hockey fans. But why embarrass yourself? This is just cringeworthy. Just announce it and have done with it.
It gets better. The NHL Network
in Las Vegas.
Yes.
It's in Las Vegas.
Yes, it's in Las Vegas because that's where Gary Bettman likes hanging out. Gary Bettman likes playing the slots, I guess.
NHL Network and NHL.com will provide extensive coverage of the award festivities, including a simulcast of between the live coverage of the red carpet show between 5 and 7, and a recap show starting at 9 p.m. But Lyle, it gets better.
This is becoming almost as cheesy as the Much Music Video Awards, man.
Oh.
Come on.
Now this is what I call hockey.
Just wait, here we go. NHL Social, in conjunction with Twitter, will have 2 Twitter mirrors on site to engage with the nominees, presenters, broadcast talent, and guests, and give fans a sneak peek in real-time, exclusive access to the red carpet and backstage at the Encore Theater in Las Vegas. Fans are encouraged to use the hashtag NHL Awards and follow NHL at NHL to join.
Yeah, but we all know that the truly worthwhile tweets, from the fans aren't going to show up. Asking Jonathan Tay, so how embarrassed are you actually having to stand here in this monkey suit, putting up with this garbage?
So I have an honest idea at this point.
So, Alex Ovechkin, how's that tennis pussy? Go ahead, Johnny. What's your idea?
That is awesome. I love the tennis pussy. Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry.
Whoa.
So my honest idea was I watched the Comedy Awards. I believe it was on NBC earlier in the year. And I think that the NHL and the Comedy Awards should combine into one awards night. Because
Mega powers unite.
It would be freaking hilarious, but nobody watches either of them.
Yeah.
No.
So, maybe that's a way. Maybe
that could be the best award show ever. That could be the best award show ever.
I'd sit and watch that.
I would.
Just for the train wreck that would happen.
Yes. But listen, they want to have a show and they want to do the thing. Hey, we just don't have to watch it. So.
And I'm probably quite naive at this point, but do other sports have award shows?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. In no way, shape, or form have I ever seen an award show for anything other than that.
You know what? I'm with Johnny on this. I don't think there's been an award show televised. Has there? I don't remember an NFL awards being televised.
Okay, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking of the ESPYs. I'm sorry, my bad.
The only thing that I remember
ESPYs doesn't really count. So yeah.
I don't think I have ever heard of a league that actually had their award show televised.
Yeah. Why? Why? Yeah. I mean, Major League Baseball, they just announced that, so-and-so won the Cy Young.
11:30 in the morning.
So-and-so won is a Gold Glove.
And the NBA gives out their trophies during the playoffs usually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's a good point, Johnny.
I do like how baseball does it, though. Baseball effectively puts something out at the lunchtime sports center and is like, so these are all the Gold Gloves.
Yeah.
This person won the Cy Young.
You're a Cy Young Award winner, yeah.
And by the way, our draft is still going on. We're in round 204.
Of last year's draft.
Of last year's draft, yes.
Todd Van Poppel's been picked 15 times.
Well.
Save us from ourselves. All right, Lyle. It's going to be a shit show next week. I'm not going to lie to you right now.
I don't care.
I'm preparing you for next week. We are going to talk nothing but nothing.
The only reason we'll have a video next week is because we own it.
Oh, that's fine. Listen, I intend to get in the spirit of things. I'll be half in the bag when I come on, so when you have me on. Of course. I mean, I may not be there, but I got to be there in spirits both ways, in spirit and spirit. So.
Look at you go.
I know.
9:30 in the morning.
There you
We're
go.
tailgating outside the first bowling alley.
But listen,
somebody has to not drink at 9:30 in the morning, by the way, because one of us has to drive.
But listen, it may be worthwhile to do a show because there might actually be some actual trade stuff we'll be able to talk about drunkenly, but we can talk about it.
Oh yeah, no, we'll be a little buzzed, that's for sure. I'm not drinking at 9:30. I'll start drinking at 10:30 in the morning. I'm gonna be.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Come on,
Drink 9:30.
Drinking 9:30 more, just gauche.
I'm starting to drink on Tuesday night.
Okay, well then you have to pick me up from the airport.
After you get here from the airport.
Okay.
There you are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll
I
stop.
only drink by myself when other people aren't supposed to be coming to my house.
We'll stop off at Frank's Den for a nightcap then.
Obviously.
Obviously.
I don't have to be at work. We should stay there till 2 in the morning and see what happens. Holy fuck, that would be amazing.
You know what? New plan. Tuesday night at Frank's Den.
Look at Johnny's thinking on the fly here.
Love it. All right, Lyle. We will talk to you next week, and hey, we'll do all day Friday too. Don't you worry. Friday nights is going to be.
I am so looking forward to this, guys. It's going to be, even though I wish I could be there with you, but the less that
Lyle says he looks forward to it now, and then all the trades are going to happen. He's going to be panicking. What did I do to myself? And then just fucking drink in the bag.
No. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. I mean, I am, of course, a professional. You forget, you know. Yes, in the fine tradition of Hunter S. Thompson, I'll just do a bunch of booze and drugs, and I'll mumble a lot and get through it somehow.
Well, hey, it's worked so far for so many NASCAR drivers. I figured, why not?
Absolutely.
All right, Lyle, we will talk to you next Wednesday, sir. Take care.
Talk to you next week, guys. Take care.
There's Lyle Richardson, SpectresHockey.net, the Hockey News, PI Guardian, and the Bleacher Report. Johnny P. Before we get to your shout-outs, I would like to remind people, Major League Roller Hockey, Laurel, Maryland, $5, $5, 8 o'clock puck drop on the 21st of June. That is this coming Saturday.
I did like how 12 and under was $6, but 6 and under was free.
Yeah, I was about to say that too. I'm just,
so
wait a
from
minute.
basically 12 to 7, you have to pay for somebody.
Exactly.
It's not exactly 12 and under. I think it's kind of false advertising, but
if you saw the flyer, it was very hastily put together.
Sean put it together, right?
I think so. The DC Filibusters take on the Philadelphia Demons. Everybody, go check it out. So shout it out, Johnny P. Shout it out loud.
So I have a shout out because I took one of those we're going to ask you 10 questions, and we're going to guess your age things on Facebook. I did it during the show while Lyle was talking, obviously. And I started laughing to myself because this is so true. The age that they guessed was 62.
Wow. Jesus Christ.
And I think it really stems from the fact that they asked me how I relax, and my answer was sleep. So, I mean, it's, yeah.
You know what?
So,
now that I see.
So, I mean, July, birthday's coming up in July. I'll be 62 this summer. I don't look a day over 30.
You don't.
So, yeah, that. Shout out to the World Cup. Shout out to Slanch Bar and Grill. I think that's what it's called. In Federal Hill. We went there on Monday night. The Orioles actually had an outing. The team is out of town, but the VP of Sales, I believe, is his title, made a trade with the bar a bit and got us a reserved spot at the bar so that we could watch the game. So I hung out with a bunch of the Orioles employees. Shout out to all the ones that I really know, like Amanda and Stacia and Christina and Matt Death. Mark was there. Some of our other friends. We took a shot of Svedka, like I said earlier, because the referees were Swedish. We wanted to get in their good graces. We took a shot of Jim Beam when Clint Dempsey scored after the first minute, which basically put me on a ban. I pretty much banned myself for the rest of the half from drinking, I believe, because I literally took 2 shots in less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I was like, really? You scored now? But the place went nuts. I was on TV. Yeah. U.S. game was awesome. It was the #1 most viewed soccer game ever on ESPN for the United States, I believe.
Interesting.
Not in total. There was a cool little video of Twitter activity, and they synced it up. The time they synced it up with the call from the game, and you can see like Twitter activity before the corner kick that Maryland grad Graham Susie took. Actually, he probably didn't graduate from Maryland. He just went there.
Yeah.
Graham Susie took the corner kick that John Brooks headed into the back of the net before all hell broke loose. I will say, though, the coolest part, I think, of Monday night, the goals were awesome, but I fully appreciate when people sing the national anthem. And the entire bar sang the national anthem, just using the first note that started on the telecast. So that was really awesome. I like that a lot. The only problem that I have is that being a Caps fan for so long now, like the Caps anthem singers are obviously military, and they're like dead on time.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever you're singing the national anthem with anybody else who's not military, the timing of it gets drawn out. I mean, it turns into like a little Richard type of rendition. So we ended after it ended on TV, but I mean the event of it, it was just awesome. You know, singing the national anthem and like chanting, like I believe that we will win, and then Dempsey scores like 35 seconds later, and just all hell breaks loose. And yeah, Monday night was a good night.
Sounds like it.
I'm gonna give a shout out to Monday night because Mondays don't get the credit that they deserve. The last Monday was fantastic. Next Monday will probably be shit.
Okay. Interesting way to
but
look at it.
This Monday was fantastic.
All right.
So I have a shout out to this Monday, and I'm hoping that other Mondays in the future are just as good.
All right then.
That was the longest group of shout outs I think I've ever had.
It really was. That was.
Oh my God. And then I have a shout out. I have another shout out to Scotty. Scotty will be here.
Next week?
Next week?
Yeah.
Scotty's showing up at my front door. Well, I mean, I have to go pick him up, but he'll be showing up at my front door at some point.
Unless I decide to go in and out the back way.
Actually, I went for a run tonight before the show at like 6:15, 6:30 was when I got home from work. Went for a quick run, showered before the show, and somebody rang the doorbell, and I had to like second guess whether or not it was actually Scotty. Like if I had forgot to pick him up, and or if it was just some random person that was leaving a note that says that Fios prices went up and they wanted me to switch to Comcast.
I've been at the airport for 5 hours. Where the hell were you?
But no, so it wasn't Scotty, which is good because that would have been weird. I have a shitload of clothes all over the guest room right now.
Really weird. I would have slept on the couch. It would have been fine.
So yeah, I think those are my 3 minutes of shout outs.
Sounds good. Your 3 minutes of shout out clocked in at 5.5 minutes.
Holy hell.
Shout out to Mijor Mike's Steakhouse Casual. Fun time there Thursday night. Half price Appy's night and dollar off Stein night. So go ahead and get yourself some tomorrow night, Thursday night. Shout out to Gianna P, who I'll be crashing in his place. Though I may not partake in all of the drinking festivities, I will be drinking. So there's that. Big Stand Invitational, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to contact us, faceoffhockeyshow@gmail.com, at Scotty Waz, at JohnP99, at FaceOffHCKY show. If you want to join us, let us know. The more, the merrier. The math doesn't usually work out, but hey, this will give us time to rest our arms. So I think that also is crucial for us as well. Shout out to the football. The football. Because chanting is awesome. I don't care what anyone else says. Need more chanting in hockey. And also, thank God, no vuvuzelas. So there's that as well. I got nothing else. There's nothing else. Mark's pissing me off because he's not going to Hall Notes tomorrow. But whatever. I'll get past it. So, that's it. That's all for Johnny P. I'm Scotty Waz. Take care of yourself and someone else. It's been Face Off Hockey Show on faceoffhockeyshow.com, which is also our Tumblr. The Facebook is FOHS Radio. The Twitter is FaceOffHCKY Show. And next week is going to be a fantastic, fantastic mess. So tune in for that as we get ready for the draft and post Big Stand Invitational, bragging and bitching, and then World Cup action as well. So until next week, peace.